minute, guys. Maybe there's some stuff up there for us. Maybe there's some stuff that we can keep from the outsiders.
Lots of
maybe there's some rich stuff.
Rich stuff.
Rich stuff.
Bravo Urban Exploration Mission Statements podcast.
Been a while.
We're going to have as a guest our former host, not former, current host, but he's giving me some duties here to interview him about a trip that sort of raised the bar and set a really high bar for everyone else. You know, a couple of us have done some really fun trips in the last year. Yeah. And it's not a competition, but man, it feels like we're pushing each other to do really amazing things. So welcome to his own podcast, Jimmy Ferrari, world traveler. And I'm so excited to hear about your trip and really just I'm going to sit back and let you tell us what you did and where you went and who you met and who you saw and who you were with, because man, I mean, following along with even following along with the pictures on Facebook and all of the posts, it was hard to keep up with just how much you did in such a brief period of time. So let us know, like, what was the impetus? Why did you do it? How did you do it? For those people who are listening and who haven't seen it on Facebook, what did you do and who did you do it with?
All right. Well, first, let's back up real quick. Anybody who is an active member of this team that we have, if they would like to become like a host or they want to do something, it's not mine, it's the team's. If you want, I'll give you the password. You want to, you want to be a host and you want to do something, like, this is all of ours. This is all of our podcast. It's not mine. It's everyone's. So, but thank you for taking the reins, because obviously I've been busy. Wow. All right. Well, where do I begin? 2 years ago, I wanted to go to California and do like this whole thing. There was certain spots that I've wanted to go to since I was literally like a little kid, way before I even knew about urban exploration or anything like that. But we couldn't do it. There was things came up and I couldn't do it. So, but actually it kind of worked out because our mutual friend, Randy Shanofsky, he informed us that there was the writer's strike in Hollywood 2 years ago. So that would have cramped us from doing something that we did over this course of this insane 16-day road trip, which turned out to be, it was just perfect, dude. So let me just say, it was just me and my daughter. I gave her, I warned her, that wasn't warning, but I let her know. And she's very hip. She's found spots on her own here in New York, and she loved the Basketball Diaries and this and that. So she's like, she appreciates this stuff too. So I told her, she was kind of hip to it. I'm like, listen, there's going to be some days where there's going to be a lot of driving. We're going to be in a car for a long amount of time. And then there's going to be some times where we're going to hang out for several days and pretty much just chill, and it's going to feel like a vacation. And if it was just me, I would have been going all out. You know what I mean? But I had a 14-year-old girl there, so I can't put her through the ringer, even though I kind of did. But I have to give her props, and not just because she's my kid, but dude, you could only imagine being on the road for 16 days with a 14-year-old girl and being in the car on average, when we're on the road, on average, like 12, 13, 14 hours a day. I mean, and that's not just going from like Albuquerque to Tulsa in one shot. That's like 12, 13 hours just hitting spots in LA. You know what I mean? Just where we're staying in Pasadena. And there was not one complaint, dude. Not one. There was one time where she was like, this is a long drive. And she was kind of feeling it a little bit. I'm like, well, are you ready for next summer? And she was like, I don't know, Dad. And then next thing you know, when we come back, we're in traffic on the BQE coming from LaGuardia Airport. And she's just like, Dad, how are we getting around next summer? Like, she realized that even though she was bored and seeing nothing but desert for 10 hours, it was a hell of a lot more peaceful and better than being in traffic in Queens. You know what I mean? So she realized, like, you know what?
Sure.
It really wasn't
Yeah.
so bad. But she never complained. There was not one complaint. There was no, I gotta pee, blah, 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 stop every 2 minutes. There was nothing like that. She was a trooper. And all we did, we just acted stupid and silly for hours and hours on end for this entire time. It was like the best time with my daughter. So what we did, we flew out from Kennedy into San Francisco. We landed at San Francisco Airport, and we landed, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning. By the time we got the rent a car, I wound up getting, it was a 2024 Chevy Equinox. And
Now, Jimmy, had you ever been out there before? Had you ever
No.
been to California?
I've been in California once, but it was like 16 years ago, and it was for work, and it was like I was with a bunch of guys on a job. I was there for 2 weeks, and I literally took the rental car and I drove around and I walked around like by the whiskey a little bit and stuff like that for like 2 hours, and that was it. So it was way before the whole Delta Bravo thing and everything. So so we flew. I was never been to San Francisco, and I always wanted to go to Alcatraz ever since I saw the movie with Clint Eastwood when I was a kid. You know,
Of course.
you see like Danny Johnson is out there. I see him hitting spots there. I'm like, damn, man, like I need to get there. So we land, and I get the rental, and I'm surprised at the time difference, and we didn't feel jet lagged. Like I felt like we felt fine, you know. So I had my list of stuff because I'm always ridiculously prepared for class, a little OCD. But we got it. We got the car, and I think we grabbed coffee, and we just started hitting spots because I had like 4 hours before we could check into the hotel. You know what I mean? So we hit, like, as everyone knows or should know by now, like I'm into the whole true crime, Charlie Manson stuff like crazy. But this whole trip was a plethora of so many different types of things. And the first place that I hit was, Charles Manson lived there, of course, like 3 years before the whole murders and stuff like that, on Cole Street. And it was nothing to mash or anything like that, but it was just where he lived. That was the first thing that I hit. And then we went to the Grateful Dead house where they stayed there. And I know it's been hit before, but as we all know, it's not like, oh, just because you hit it, you can't.
Yeah.
It's how many times have people hit the Warriors and stuff like that? It's all about how you feel when you're doing this stuff. But so I hit the Grateful Dead house. Then I went up to where the house was from Pacific Heights with what's his face, Batman,
Matthew Modine and Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, yeah. So like that was like 3 miles away. So I hit that, and then I hit spots from Vertigo, the Mission Dolores Cemetery.
You know what? That's one that I really want to hit someday. I love San Francisco. I've been there before, and I've hit some spots in San Francisco. But I love Alfred Hitchcock movies and Jimmy Stewart in particular, and Vertigo. Yeah, like that Mission Church.
Yes.
That whole thing figures so prominently in that movie. And I know I just haven't been there. So I was so glad you hit that. I mean, part of what's so fun about watching you do this is I knew you were really transparent about what you were going to try to hit. You had it all. You had your itinerary. You shared it with everybody. But that was fun for people like me who are kind of watching you do this.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking how, we were out in California this time last year, and just how different. There's some things that we do that are the same, and then there's places where we go that the other person wouldn't care about. But a lot of the
100%.
spots like Pacific Heights was cool. And I'd been to Haight-Ashbury before, but I was doing all the Beastie Boys stuff where they were walking around in San
My daughter wanted to go there.
Francisco,
I went,
and you're doing all the Charles Manson. And then
yeah,
what about the
my
so
daughter wanted to go around there because, and you know what, she was like, she's like, it feels like the West Coast version of like the East Village. You know what I mean?
yeah, right.
Haight-Ashbury.
Yeah,
So she
yeah.
loved the whole vibe, and there's people smoking pot everywhere. I felt like I was in New York, but it's like you look around, it's like there's Haight-Ashbury, just like knowing the history of that whole the movement and the whole Vietnam protests and the whole hippie thing. I mean, that's where it all started, and it's where the whole hippie shit started.
What was the one thing where you lost me a little bit, and I'm sure yeah, I think Danny knows about it. Danny Johnson knows about it. The Bobby Beausoleil pictures in front of the house, and then you went in a house too. What was that about?
That house, dude.
Okay, but who was the guy with the tiger and all that? What was that all about?
That's Anton LaVey, the guy who started the Church of Satan. Well,
okay,
yeah. We like some dark shit, but yeah, man.
Yeah,
like Manson, Anton LaVey, Bobby Beausoleil, all this shit. So we go first. I hit where it used to be, where the Satanic Church used to be. It's not there anymore. It's like a continuation of like these apartments. So, but I knew exactly where it was, so I kind of just mashed it in there. There's like telephone poles that are still the same, so I was able to, like, you could see that's exactly where it was, but they demolished it. So after that, we go, and I wanted to go to that. You know, there's the do as thou shalt wilt, or whatever the hell it is, on the door, and there's that famous picture of Bobby Beausoleil wearing a top hat and stuff like that. And right.
Yeah.
I wanted to get that, and I had a feeling it was going to be a challenging thing to mash because of there's so much woodwork and molding and posts and stuff, and the angle is weird and the stairs. So I knew it wasn't going to be really easy. So with that in mind, whatever, I pull up there, and my daughter loves like all of that old architecture, like colonial mansions, like all.
Oh yeah.
My daughter loves that stuff. She loves it. She has like an old soul for a 14-year-old kid. And so
That's cool.
I pull up, and I was like, "Oh, you want to get out?" She's like, "No," and she's just like looking at it, like, "Wow, that's cool." And I kept the truck was running, and I got out just to take a few pictures, just to mash up that one shot. So I go over, and there's a guy, and he's painting the steps brown. So I'm like, "Hey man, how are you?" You know, I'm trying to be polite. You know, how are you? He was like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" I was like, "Oh, do you mind if I take a few pictures of that?" He's like, "Absolutely not. Go right ahead." So I'm like, "Thanks, man." I was like, "Oh, you live here?" He's like, "Yeah, for the last 38 years." I'm like, "Really?"
No way.
Yeah, the homeowner is painting the steps, right? So I'm just like, "Oh, wow, like that's pretty crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to take the pictures because, you know, Bobby," and he starts laughing. He's like, "Bobby Beausoleil." I'm like, "Yeah, you know," and then we start chit-chatting. And then he's like, "Oh, you should have came here about 20 minutes ago because there was a couple of people here, and they were looking at the house, and I showed them the inside." And I'm like, "Oh,
wow."
man." I'm like, "Damn, now you're painting the steps. It's wet. You can't go up the stairs, right?" So I'm talking with him. Super nice guy. His name was Jimmy also. And I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, Bobby Beausoleil used to hang out in here, and then there was a Kenneth Anger movie that was filmed in here. It's the it escapes me now. What the hell is the name of the movie? It's a terrible movie. It's like 11 minutes long, and it's on YouTube. I'll find it. But anyway, so we're talking, and then he's like, "Oh, if you want, he's like, if you could wait a few minutes, let me just paint these last two steps, and if you want, we'll go around." And we'll go in through the side door. And if you want to see the inside of the house, I'll take you in the house. I'm just like, "Really, dude?" I'm like, "That's incredible." So I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Did you already have the interior pictures?
No.
Did you already have the interior pictures? So while you were waiting for the paint, you're digging.
No,
right?
This guy had shit in his phone.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
So then we exchanged numbers, and he's texting me the pictures of the inside of the house. I'm like, "Yo,
oh man, that's great.
This stuff doesn't happen." All right, the name of the movie, by Kenneth Anger, Invocation of My Demon Brother.
Oh wow.
It's on YouTube, and it was filmed all inside the house, right? Bobby Beausoleil is the starring guy, and it's basically a terrible movie, even if you were on acid. It's super trippy. It's like that whole it's flashy nonsense. It's like no one talks in it. It's very bizarre, right?
Weird.
It's an 11-minute acid trip, right? A bad acid trip, right? So we go in. So I asked him. I was like, am I safe, parked here? He's like, yeah, the cops aren't going to bother you. Don't even worry about it. So I go in. I tell my daughter, I'm like, Alexa, talking to the owner, and we're going to go inside. She lit up. She's like, really? I was like, yeah. She's like, whoa. She's like, that's heavy. I'm like, I know. This is awesome. So she's in.
Yeah.
So we go around and we go in, and dude, this place, it might as well be a museum, because even though it's lived in, it doesn't look lived in. All of the furniture is super old. There's Oriental rugs, and everything is just super old but pristine and clean. It was there's no TVs. There was no technology in it. It was like frozen in the fucking 50s or 40s or whenever it was built, So he's showing us all around, and he's texting me pictures of Anton LaVey when he was young, and he had a pet lion in the house. And I'm
yeah, that's what I saw. I was confused. I was like, what am I looking at here? The guy who
started this satanic church is living and hanging out in there, and he has a lion cub, and he's in the house. And then what's crazy, he shows me, he's like, oh, check this out. He sends me these pictures of a young Anton LaVey. So then we're walking up these, bro, this house is incredible. The architecture and the woodwork, it's incredible. My daughter's just in her glory, just taking pictures all over the place. So he shows me, like, right at the bottom of one of the staircases, he pulls back like this weird little curtain. And it's been varnished over, but you could see, and there's all sorts of like gouges in it. He's like, you know what that is? I'm like, what's that? He's like, that's from the the lion's claw. The lion used to like scratch at this one person.
Oh my God.
So I took a picture of it, and I sent it to Danny Johnson, and I said nothing about it. He's like, dude, what is that? And I was like, dude, that's Anton LaVey's claw damage. I'm inside the Bobby Beausoleil house. He's like, no way. So I knew he would appreciate it. I just sent it to him, and I said nothing. So we're walking around, and dude, some of it was kind of creepy. He sent me some shots of like Bobby Beausoleil on the staircase inside, and I got a few, and Anton LaVey with his tiger in two different spots. There was one where he's right outside of a fireplace that was on the top floor. But there was like a bookcase that was built around the fireplace, but it was still there. And then we went all the way to the top, dude. Now the top is like a 40-foot. It's like it's a small room, and it's almost like a steeple. And we're standing there, and it was a hardwood floor with like a carpet on it. And it was me and Alexa, me and this guy Jimmy. And we look up, and the ceiling was taken out, so you could look straight all the way up inside the steeple. And it's like 40 feet, right? It's almost like a triangular pyramid shape. So he's telling me, he's like, Kenneth Anger and Bobby Beausoleil and Anton LaVey, they loved it because it's almost the dead center of San Francisco, and the pyramid shape. They used to do like fucking satanic shit right where we were standing, just underneath the whole thing. And he said that there was he said there was a huge pentagram that used to be on the floor where we were standing, but he had it all sanded out, and he had it like blessed by like a Buddhist monk and shit like that. So, but yeah, he was like, yeah, all kinds of stuff used to happen here. And I was like, how did you get this house?
Wow, that's bananas.
Yo, it was so crazy. Even my daughter was like, whoa, that's nuts. So I asked him, I was like, if you don't mind, like, how'd you get this house? Like, was it foreclosure? He was kind of cryptic about it, but it was hilarious and very typical of this guy's vibe. He was like, it was always my favorite house in the entire area. And I was on an acid trip, and I just had a vision of me one day living and owning this house. Now I'm like, what does that mean? Like, do I have to eat a whole bunch of acid and then think about living in a mansion that's going to happen? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was an old school hippie guy, but super nice. And it was just like I couldn't believe I was in that house. It was just one of those things that happened. It's happened several times on road trips in the past where you don't expect it. You just strike up a conversation. The guy happens to be super nice. Next thing you know, you're in a place you had no intentions of being, you know? So we went
Oh,
inside.
exactly. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. Did so from there, so where's the Grateful Dead house? Is it really close to that? Because in my mind's eye, they're really
The
close to each
Grateful
other.
Dead house is like
But because
around
I've been there.
the Grateful Dead house is like around the block from the Manson house off of Cole Street. It's like right off. It's like
Okay.
it's not far
Yeah.
at all. I had to on because
I hit that probably like 10 years ago. Yeah.
yeah, and then so I was like San Francisco, but when I was preparing all this stuff, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm of that age where you used to see Rice-A-Roni commercials, the San Francisco treat, you know what I mean? So I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah,
I'm
of
gonna take a
course.
screenshot of like one of the old school commercials and I'm gonna smash that. And I found the street and I never realized until you start looking at details like we all do. And in the background of the commercial, you could see Alcatraz in the San Francisco Bay. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I took a bunch of pictures because it's a very weird angle because it's so hilly, you know what I mean? But yeah, so
Hmm.
I hit a
Hmm. Yep.
Rice-A-Roni commercial too because why not? You know? Um, and that was
When
all.
we were there, we ended up doing a bunch of bullet Steve McQueen
I
shots
know,
at
I
the
know.
top of the hill there. There's some really cool. There's one where he's walking in front of a corner store in front of a fire hydrant.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
so
remember
those
that one.
and I think some of those shops have pictures from back when they were filming because they're all excited.
I knew all about the bullet thing, but like a lot of times, it's like I just didn't.
Uh-oh,
First of
did
all,
I
I wasn't
lose you?
really prepared for bullet. That's number one. Number two, I had so much going on, and we had a window of time, and then I had to check into the hotel, and then we did other things, but go out to dinner and stuff like that. But sometimes, what happened to you?
I don't know. I'm still here.
Oh, I don't know. I
Can you
don't
hear
see.
me?
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't see your video. Your video is out.
Yeah, I'll turn it back
There you
on.
go.
Sorry. That's
No,
the wrong camera.
that's all right. It's fine. There you go.
There we go. Sorry.
So no, it's whatever, dude. Um, yeah, another spot from Vertigo was the Legion of Honors that I hit, which also happened to be the one of, and I'm disappointed in myself because my angle was off and I couldn't tweak it enough and it would have been more mangled. But there's that famous picture of Robin Williams handing a roll of toilet paper to the Thinker. There's a famous picture of Robin Williams, and it's also at the Legion of Honors, and that's
Oh yeah, right.
and I had
Mhm.
that, but I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, I'm looking at my picture, I'm trying to match. I'm like, what was I looking at? I was just off, and I couldn't do it. That's the one thing after all of the matches and all the hits. There's that one thing, and it bothers me that I couldn't do it. It was too much. It was like,
Of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
But it's all did you get to go by the did you go by the Palace of Fine Arts at all with
I didn't.
there's the Janis Joplin spot. Actually,
No,
there's also a scene from Vertigo there too where they're walking with the
is
that
there?
really cool, it's a cool building. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's over by I guess it's by Golden Gate Park. And then
Okay.
somebody years ago did Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe house over in that district.
Okay. Yeah. No, there was. I mean, just as much as anybody, bro. I could be there for a month and still have more things to hit.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So it's like, all right, I got a good,
Yep.
nice chunk of San Francisco, and then the next day I had booked it. It was like the second thing that I did when I was playing. It was like flights, book Alcatraz because everyone was like, make sure you book Alcatraz in advance. So I was getting nervous, so I made sure I did
Yeah,
that.
right.
But so we headed over to Alcatraz, dude, and that was just crazy, man. It was just like just taking the ferry over, and I was so prepared with like the real stuff when the actual escape and a whole bunch from. I had a couple from the Rock, and then I had a bunch from the Rock, but there was certain areas I just couldn't access.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I did one from the Rock, but a whole bunch from Escape
Sure.
from Alcatraz, which was awesome. And there's like announcements that's happening like as soon as you get off the ferry, like you're not allowed to take anything from the island or whatever. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, I'm out in the yard in Alcatraz. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna tie my
They
shoe.
knew you were coming.
Yeah, I put rocks in my shoe, so I have rocks from like the yard at Alcatraz prison. Like that's cool shit, man. So yeah, so we hit all of that, and then that day after we were done with Alcatraz, we pretty much got. I think we went for lunch, and then we got out of there, and we started to head to Santa Cruz. But I had a couple of spots along the way. Of course, you look at the route. It's like, okay, well, what's in between this and this? It doesn't put me off my path. So, a lot of people know that I go to cemeteries a lot, and there's I had a lot of Manson stuff, dude. But it was Holy Cross Cemetery, and I paid my respects to Abigail Folger, who was a murder victim and the coffee heiress that was killed by the Manson family, in the same cemetery.
Right.
Talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
opposite ends of
Sure.
the spectrum. It's like Abigail Folger, it was a terrible thing, a murder victim, and then I paid my respects to fucking Joltin' Joe. Joe DiMaggio was in the same cemetery. So
Nice.
that was
Wow.
pretty cool, and then right down the block, literally on the opposite corner, was Wyatt Earp's grave. So I'm like, talk about
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, man. So like Wyatt Earp, Joe DiMaggio, and a murder victim. It's just like it's so all over the place. So then on the way down, we stopped in Malibu off of the Pacific Coast Highway at Leo Carrillo State Park, and that's where all the beach scenes from the Karate Kid was taken. And that was like
I think the same park was where they filmed the very beginning of Grease. I think it's where Danny and
That's
Sandy
possible.
are the very beginning of Grease.
Yeah, no,
I'm pretty sure it's the same rock formation.
You know what? Now that you say that it's probably true. That's also where they filmed a couple of scenes from the movie The Craft with Fairuza Balk. So I walk in there and I'm just like, I didn't know what to expect. I figured it was going to be this really big, huge beach, and I was going to have to walk like a really far way to find the rock formations and stuff. Dude, we there's like a parking lot, and I walked down like this path underneath this overpass. Next thing you know, I looked to my left and my right, and I was like on the set of The Karate Kid. I'm like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? It was like it was no, I didn't have to look for anything. I was like, there's that. I was just, and of course I took a couple of rocks. My daughter even took a rock. Yeah. So that was really cool. We walked around there, and what was nice was, even though it wasn't a very long drive, but I tried to stop as much as I could, like to stretch our legs, to see something else, to give my daughter a break as well. You know what I mean? So we hit that, and then we went to Santa Cruz, and we checked into the hotel in Santa Cruz, and we were there for like 4 days. And that was I got burnt to a crisp, but it was more relaxing because everything except for one spot that I wanted to hit was literally a half a block from the hotel on the boardwalk at the beach where we were at the entire time. There was that movie Us. You ever see Us? You ever see it? That's all on that beach. That's all on that beach. There's a couple of spots that were a couple of blocks away that we walked to. And all of the Lost Boys, a lot of the Lost Boys. I hit like 15 Lost Boys shots under the boardwalk, the carousel, all over the place. I found where the comic book store was, where you first meet the Frog Brothers. That was a few blocks away, but it was just an empty lot. They took that down. But that Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Sudden Impact with Clint Eastwood, that was right on the boardwalk. There was so many things where it's like, right here is like, this is a Lost Boy shot, and then I go like this, and I go, that's a Sudden Impact shot, like literally like right there.
Right.
It was like every
yeah,
time
right.
around, it's like, go like this on the beach this way, that's the Lost Boys. Go like this, that's us. Or go like this, that's fucking Sudden Impact. Like, it was just like everywhere you looked, there was something. And then I found the spot from that movie Bumblebee, which I'm not a Transformers guy, but I was like, oh, that's literally right where we're standing. So I just took the pictures, So why not? Someone else might appreciate that, So yeah, so we were there for like 4 days. And then we headed down into we stayed in, well, actually on our way down, it was like a 5.5 hour drive into Pasadena where we were staying. But on the way down, we hit Monterey and Carmel by the Sea in California, which was
Oh
where,
yeah, that's beautiful there.
yo, dude, that driving down like that whole Pacific Coast Highway, we stopped a couple of times we pulled over and we just like took pictures and we just standing there just looking. It was beautiful, dude. And it was just such a cool thing. It was awesome to do with my daughter. You know what I mean? She was just in her glory and
I bet.
it was just such a good time, man. And just peaceful, and there's no drama. It was just nice, you know? And so then we stopped because that old Clint Eastwood movie Play Misty for Me was there. So I'm like, that's a cool spot to stop and take a couple of pictures, maybe get gas or grab something to eat, whatever, and then continue on. So after all of that, we stayed in Pasadena, and I had a whole bunch of shit. I mean, let me tell you something. I had a lot of stuff on my itinerary. I did a lot of it, but I left like 40 things on the table. It was like 40.
No, same. When we were there last year, we there's so whole areas that we didn't get to. We would stay in one spot of LA and get as much as we could.
Bro, I hit not one spot in Beverly Hills. Not one. And I
didn't make it there either. I didn't make it there either. Yeah,
I had so much stuff in Beverly Hills. I did not hit any of it. None. I was like, damn it. But at the end of this, what the plans are for next summer, it's a 50-50 shot of what we're going to do. The first spot that I tried to, I knew I wasn't going to get access, but I was like, it's on the way and I'm going to try at least. But I knew where Tony Montana's mansion was from Scarface. And I knew that it would probably be behind, gates or whatever, but, who knows? Like, just like the Bobby Beausoleil house, maybe the owner is cool and will let me take pictures. You never know. But to no avail. I looked, you couldn't even see it. I'm like, there was no way. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't think so anyway. I stopped at a cemetery and I paid my respects to another murder victim. Jesus Christ. I'm like a morbid dude. To Ron Goldman from, the OJ murders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ron right.
Goldman,
oh my gosh.
And while I was there, I searched if there was anyone else there, and I paid my respects to Karen Carpenter, who was also there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so cool. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool, why not? Then there was another Manson-related murder, which was before the Tate LaBianca murders. There's a guy named Gary Hinman who was killed by Bobby Beausoleil. I went to his house. Right. Went there. I stopped off and I went to Danny Boy O'Connor and Ice Cube's alma mater at Taft High School to do Mask.
So let me stop you right there.
Stop me because I'm a little aggravated at my whole mask thing. Go on.
I remember you posted that there was scaffolding or something.
The whole thing was probably about a 10-foot red tarp around, like, they were doing a lot of construction on the facade.
Well, but between you and Danny Johnson, Mask is one of my favorites, and I have this whole. I always get into this thing where I feel obligated to talk about how the director's cut ruined it because they put Bruce Springsteen songs in instead of Bob Seger songs.
I don't even want to see that.
I'm a bigger Bob Seger fan.
Huge.
It's annoying, and you can't find the Bob Seger version anymore. They don't make it. It's just on VHS. So any DVD you get has the director's cut with the Bruce Springsteen music. And my daughter tried to get me the old version for Christmas, and I think she got scammed because she was all excited. She's like, "This is going to be the best gift ever." She knows that I really want this copy with the original soundtrack. And I don't know, Peter Bogdanovich, before he died, he made what he wanted to make, which is a Bruce Springsteen soundtrack, and it's not as good.
No.
Because the scenes that you guys got, the end of the movie when they play "Roll Me Away" when the credits roll is amazing. I just love that scene. I love that movie, and you guys getting it to high school, and I feel I did anybody do that his house where they lived? I feel like you guys did the cemetery, which was
did.
amazing. I can't wait to get out there and do that.
I did the cemetery. That was a little tricky. I had to actually ask a Mexican gravedigger. I was driving around, and it's the same cemetery as a scene from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. There's like a mausoleum. Like
Really?
as soon as you go in, I already had it, and there's a scene right there, and I was like, oh, perfect. I got out, I did my thing, and now I was like, all right, now I'm driving around. I'm looking for specific tombstones and stuff like that, and I'm driving around. I'm like, it could be anywhere. So I saw like there was a couple of Hispanic dudes in a truck, and they hardly understood me at all. But I don't care. I get out and I'm like, hey, I'm like, amigo, this where where, and he's like, oh, blah, blah, and then he's talking with the other guy, and then he's like, and I followed him, and he's like down over there. So I was like, oh, like thank you, man. So it was still a little bit tricky to find because that movie was 1985, and houses in the background are different and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I got a few of those.
Was this LA? Is this in Los Angeles?
Yes, it was. Man, so I have like, it's not in order. I have my friggin' whatchamacallit here. Yeah, it's in LA. Around about in because there's like there's LA, and then there's certain things, Westlake Village, and there's all these little areas. It's all considered LA, but there's like small little neighborhoods or whatever. But yes, it was
Sure.
yeah.
That's what I learned. Yeah, that's what I learned last year.
Bro, I was kind of I was thrown off, and I think because I thought that I had my stuff in order, but once I got there, the order of my itinerary went right to shit. It was just like, so I'm sure, and I found myself a couple of times driving somewhere where I already was.
Yeah,
could have saved me. If I had a better grasp of the geography, I probably could have hit like 20 more spots. You know what I mean? But it's whatever.
Of course, but you did an amazing job, though. What you got was great, and I know what you mean. I mean, we did the Back to the Future spot, the mall. We went to the mall, and that took a while to drive out of LA proper to go see that. And that was at night. We wanted to go see the parking lot at night because that made the most sense.
Of course.
But yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't. Where he's in the tree. You did the tree, and it did it perfectly.
I did.
Yeah,
I was looking, and I had the screenshot. So like, this has to be like I said, I try to be as most prepared as I can. So I'm watching the movie on the computer. I'm taking big screenshots, boom, 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 of little things that you can't just Google. You know what I mean? So I take screenshots, and I'm like, this has to be right in front. So as we pulled up, I have my phone out, and I'm looking. I'm like, there's the friggin' bend is still in the friggin' tree branch up there. I'm like, that's the tree branch where McFly was laying using the binoculars. I'm like, that's incredible. So I just got out and started taking pictures of the tree branch. And then I kind of like got like on I got on the hood of the truck, and I was standing there for a minute. People must have thought I was insane, but I don't care. I was standing and underneath it so I can get the shot of what he was looking at in the window when he was spying on Marty's mother. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So I got all that.
That's right.
Yeah, which was cool.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that house is also in Teen Wolf. I think it's the same, on the same street, I think, is the Teen Wolf house. I think so. Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but
Country Club Road or Country Club Drive is in Long Beach, and that's where we hit the Ferris Bueller house. My daughter loves that movie, Donnie Darko. So that's also like right down the block. There was like two different houses, like right down the block from Ferris Bueller's house. And then someone had told me later on that Dexter's house is right down the block from that. Like that street is movies every year. Yeah. But shit, I mean
it's weird to me that Dexter's house isn't in Miami, Because Dexter's
yeah.
house was supposed to be Miami, right?
Well, look at Scarface. Scarface is all Cali except for the stuff that you
Right.
do down in South Beach. You know what I mean? It's like I did it at
Right.
night. I even
Yeah.
wrote that I don't like the quality of it because sometimes when you take pictures at night, it just looks weird. But there was so many more Scarface spots that I wanted to hit. I just didn't have time. Like Freedom Town is underneath that overpass from the beginning of Scarface. That's the same exact spot as the armored truck heist in Heat. So that's the same. I didn't get that. I wanted to get that, but I couldn't get it.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I got Manolo's house where Tony's walking up the stairs before he shoots Manny. But I went to that house and I did it at night because it happens at night.
I didn't get it, but I have dropped a pin on where Tony's mother's house is.
It's not
where he goes to see her and Gina, where it's like right by there's like a power plant or something in the background. Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I had that on my list too, but I didn't make it there, and it's not there.
Of course, I'm sure.
Of course, man. I hit one of my old favorite movies, a silly, stupid horror movie from 1985 was Return of the Living Dead. And I went to the You Need a Medical Supply, which was really cool. Jesus Christ. But we stayed in Pasadena, which we were like 3 blocks away from Pee-wee's house from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. We went to Miss Donuts from the scene in Boogie Nights with Don Cheadle, that whole scene.
Oh my gosh. So yeah,
Dude,
like that to me, like that. I didn't do it when I was out there. I didn't do any Boogie Nights when I was out there, but those are all some of my favorite spots. I think you and I have talked before. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. Yep. And Miss Donuts. And there's I had the scene where I know.
Yeah.
I know. You've said that before. You're on record. And me too. It's one of my all-time favorites. I wanted to go to Jack Horner's house. But that whole strip where I guess the Reseda Theater is, and where the opening credits were, where with the camera kind of swaying and all that. Yep. But man, I love that you went in there. And didn't was it Kevin? Was it you that did the one from behind the donut case? Who did that one through the glass? That was you.
I hit like 10 different angles in that place. Yeah. So
it was great.
Yeah. So I walk in there and I thought they were closing. So there's this Hispanic girl who's like mopping up and whatever. And I had to do it because Don Cheadle does it. So you open? She's like, yeah, we're open. So I did my stupid Don Cheadle impression and I'm pointing in the case and I'm like, so I had to order a bear. I had to order a bear claw because and too bad it wasn't Christmas time. Because I would have been like, oh, did you do that for Christmas? That's cute. I would have did that, but it wasn't the time. But I had to order a bear claw.
Of course.
So, but then there's an Asian man that owns it. And he comes out, and I'm like, do you mind if I take pictures? You know, because he goes, and he's my terrible broken English. He's like, oh yeah, that's from a boogie night. That's what he says. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, that's where he gets killed. Boom, boom, boom. The owner is telling me this. I'm like, yeah, man. I was like, yo, you want to be in the picture? He's like, no, you can take pictures. Don't take pictures. So I was just in there, like on my knees, taking up, different angles and shit. It was awesome. So. Even my daughter was like, and she got donuts too. She was like, these donuts are awesome. And blah, blah, blah. I was like, my daughter loves that movie too. So that was a cool experience for her as well. Now, a bucket list thing that I had was Jack Horner's house. And I had shots from the backyard everywhere. Now, I Google mapped it and there's a big horseshoe shaped driveway, but on each entrance, there's a gate. So I'm like, now even my daughter was like, dude, I want to go in that backyard. I want to see that. Like my daughter was all in. And that was one of the spots that she wanted. That was probably, besides like Donnie Darko in this movie mid-90s that, what's his face? Jonah Hill directed, which we hit a bunch of spots for my daughter. She really wanted to do Jack Horner's house. But I went up there and I pressed the I was like, you know what? I'm here. I don't care. So I pressed like the.
Did you really?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't care. I'm like with a little girl. Like, how threatening can I be? Even when I look at my tattoos,
Right.
a little girl, like, you know, like, what are they gonna do? Tell me to beat it? All right, sorry to bother you, and I would have drove away. But
Right,
no,
right,
there
right.
was, I don't know if there was anyone home, and I wasn't gonna start hopping gates. I mean, all these places have cameras and stuff. I'm not gonna be in the back.
Oh yeah.
It's a private home. I'm not gonna do that. But I rang a couple of times, and I was just like, oh man. So I'm like, you know what? Like I'm gonna have to do some other research. I'm like, yo, I don't care. I have the address. I'll write them a letter in advance and let them ask them if I can come one day. Like I'll do
Yeah.
it. I don't care, dude. So they can be cool.
Yeah.
Sure. Or maybe I just won't get a response. And then we're beat. I don't know. But shit. What? Oh, you know what? The house they took down, the whole robbery house with you know.
I
Dude,
know. Rahad Jackson. It's an incredible scene, and I know the house is gone, right?
dude, there was nothing wrong with that house. It was a beautiful house. They tore it down, and the house that's there is just like, it's just like, what'd you build here, dude? What'd you build?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, it was.
You did manage to mash up the Corvette
I
on
got
that
the
street.
corner. Yeah,
That's
and
great.
plus it was at
Yeah, that's
night, so I
good.
got the corner. And then there was one where he's shooting. It's like a long stretch down the road, and I was kind of off. It just didn't look right. I'm not gonna wing this one. But
Hey, you know what I wanted to ask you about? Because when we were there, you were the first person I thought of was Wonderland. I wanted to, I mean, you got there, right?
yes, that was the last day. We were on our way to Jesus Christ. Where did we go? We were on our way to Arizona, right from there. That was the second or third to last place that we hit in California, which was Wonderland Avenue. That was bucket list for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That was one of the first things that was on my list. Like California, Spawn Ranch, Wonderland Avenue. Like that was it. Like in that order. But yeah, I hit that, which was crazy. Also the La Bianca house on Waverly Drive was another big bucket list one for me. The last spot that we hit leaving LA was, what's the name of the friggin' cemetery? Hold on. It was
Oh, Hollywood Forever.
oh no, we did that a couple of days in. So yeah, there was I hit a bunch like Burt Reynolds and all those. Yeah, man, Johnny Ramone and stuff like that.
It's funny, of all the people that are buried there, you and I took pictures of the same exact tombstones because I
yeah,
have
it
a
was like
picture
Chris
of Burt
Cornell
Reynolds
from
one too.
Soundgarden, you know, like
Right,
stuff like that.
right.
I mean, what was it? It was, that's Beverly Hills. Give me 1 second. What the hell is the name of it? Because I went to go hit. I wanted to pay my respects to Sharon Tate.
Oh wow.
And Sharon Tate, but the cemetery was closed, and I'm like, oh man. But it was Queen. No, that wasn't that. I did not make the Mask House. That bothers me too.
What about the restaurant that you went to where Sharon Tate ate her last meal?
Oh yeah, dude. All right, let me get into that. First of all, I have to, because I'm already almost into Arizona. So
I know.
yeah, because I get excited, bro. So now, huge shout out to Randy Shanofsky because
Yeah. That must have been amazing.
dude, salt of the earth, one of my favorite people. The guy, you can't get a nice, you can't be a nicer guy. If you say anything bad about Randy Shanofsky, like I don't understand, you know, how you, I don't get it. Now if people don't know, he's retired. He worked for Warner Brothers as a focus puller, camera operator for 40 years for Warner Brothers. Basically got his start with The Outsiders, and his whole story is insane. So way before, you know, once I told him that I'm definitely coming this year, this, that, and the other thing, he started putting things in plan. Like he started working behind the scenes, like to show me a good time. You know what I mean? And my daughter. And he was like, I can't wait to actually, I felt like we knew each other anyway. He's been on different, he did the Blast Furnace podcast. He did this, you know, we talk behind the scenes often. So he's the one that got me in touch with Jeff Kober, the actor, to do the Brooklyn Blast Furnace.
Right.
Yeah, it was like I was on my way to pick up my daughter one day, and my phone rings from a California number. I'm like, hello? And he's like, yeah, is this Jimmy? I'm like, yeah, who's this? He's like, oh, we have a mutual friend with Randy Sinofsky. This is Jeff Kober. I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy. So he wound up being on the podcast. So what Jeff does on the side is like a hobby. He does this tintype photography. And there's no film involved. It's like you see like old pictures of like Abraham Lincoln. It was done in this format. Gigantic camera on a huge tripod. It needs a lot of light. It's a crazy process. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know what I'm even talking about because I don't. But Randy gets in touch with him and sets up an appointment and tells me that he's like, you're my guest here. You're coming out here. You're not paying for anything. This is all on me. Blah, blah. I'm like, you don't have to do that, dude. Like, I appreciate it, but whatever. So he's like, we're going to go to Jeff's house and I'm going to have him take a couple of tintypes of you and Alexa. I'm like, that would be awesome. Next thing you know, Randy comes. He's like, listen, it doesn't make sense for you to drive from where you are all the way to me and then this and that and then going all the way back near Burbank and all that. And I'm like, listen, you're the California guy. You know the logistics and the geography and time and all that. I'll leave it up to you. I'll take your lead. So he winds up coming to pick us up from the hotel. And he's like, I have an electric car. You can save on gas. Don't even worry about it. I'm like, all right, cool. So he picks us up. And the first stop was Jeff Kober's house. And I mean, if people don't know, it's like The First Power, Sons of Anarchy, China Beach, The Walking Dead. He's been in a million things. He's a great, great, great character actor. And he plays a really, really, really good scumbag bad guy. But he's the complete polar opposite in real life. He's like this super peaceful, all about meditation and Buddhism and all this super calm, super nice guy. And so we pull up in front of Jeff's house and Randy calls him. He's like, would you mind if we're here about 12 minutes early? And Jeff is like, nah, the door's open. Just come on in. So we're in Encino. And we walk right into his house and he comes in, hey, how you doing? And nice to meet you. And hi, I'm Jeff. And he made my daughter feel super comfortable. I was like, nice to meet you in person. All this stuff. Next thing you know, we're in this guy's backyard. There's an orange tree behind me. There's a fig tree. I'm in like Jeff Kober's backyard in Encino. Like, this is crazy. Now I'm sending pictures as it's happening to Alexa's mother because Alexa's mother loves Sons of Anarchy and loves Jeff Kober. So I'm like, this is happening right now. She's like, oh my God, you're in his backyard. Like, she was fangirling out in Jersey while I was like, yeah, look, like, Alexa's loving this and, and it was really cool. He made my daughter feel really, really, really good. And he's taking her picture and he's like, wow, you're beautiful and you're made for the movies and this really, 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 really sweet stuff. And my daughter she was on cloud nine, man. And there was a few taken of me and her. And then Randy was like, Jeff, would you mind taking just a picture of Alexa? Just my daughter. And absolutely. So, and then it was just, we were there for a couple of hours and then Jeff was like, oh, give me 1 second. He runs back into his house and he comes back out and he hands me a book and he hands Alexa a book and he wrote a book. And inside mine, Randy was like, oh, would you mind if you signed it for them? And he's like, they're already signed. So I open it up and it's inscribed and it's personalized to Jimmy, great to meet you, Jeff Kober. And then in my daughter's, he's like, dear Alexa, it was a privilege to meet you. You're a sweetheart. It was a pleasure. Now go have a big life. Love all Jeff Kober.
Wow.
And it was just and we were talking about it after we left and Randy was like, and you know what's crazy? He's like, he means that. And I was like, I could tell that he's a genuine person like that. And from
those pictures, Jimmy, those pictures were beautiful.
I'm still waiting on the actual physical one because there's he's going to mail them to me.
Well, you probably know this about me, but I'm not sure if everybody else does. I'm an art teacher and we actually have a whole unit where we do fake tintypes using modern technology and apps and filters, but we recreate Civil War era tintypes. So when I saw that, it seemed sort of random that it was attached to your trip. It's like I was so excited about those pictures and the fact that they documented you and your daughter on this incredible trip. It was just beautiful. That was such a cool cool gift that they arranged for you.
Yeah, it was all Randy. It was all Randy, man. And then from there, like, we said goodbye, and then of course I had to be an idiot because I couldn't help myself. As we were leaving, I was talking with Jeff, and everyone's just comfortable and talking with each other. Everything was cool. And then I had to hit him with the tagline that he says in the first Power in the movie, because he plays a possessed guy, and in the movie. So right when we were leaving, I was like, "See you around, buddy boy." And he looked at me and he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Get out." And I was like, "All right, I'm out. I'm sorry, I had to do that."
That's awesome, though.
I was like, "See you around, buddy boy."
You had to do it. You had to do it. That's awesome.
I'm like, "I'm sorry, I had to do it, man. I'm sorry. My apologies." And he laughed.
That's great. That's
but
great.
so then from there we headed to Burbank to Warner Brothers Studios, and we were there for like 5 hours, dude. And Randy is an encyclopedia, man. And I mean, he knows that place like the back of his hand. He's worked on a million things there. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, from everything from Gremlins to Pee-wee's Big Adventure to the Steps where Purple Rain album cover, which is the same one as Annie, which is also in The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. And my daughter loves the show Shameless, so did I. So there was the Alibi, the bar. I mean, Jesus Christ. There was only one spot that we didn't get because we couldn't get into. It was Soundstage 19. And that's where they constructed and built the entire scene from the end of the Goonies with the Inferno and the war.
No way. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But he didn't have like the swipe to get in there. So it's fine. I mean, we got so much other stuff, but that was one spot that obviously nothing would have been in there. It just would have been a big empty whatever. But I would have, taken pictures or whatever. But that's where it was stage 19 is where they filled it with water, this whole thing. And what was crazy, this whole tour, he's like, yeah, there's the whole, there's the jungle area, and so we're walking past, that's where they filmed a whole bunch of stuff from like Kung Fu and a million other things. And there was a pond, which is like rubber lining. There was no water in it. And he was like, yeah, this is where like Pee Wee Herman, swings with his bike over the lake.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to do that. And
nice.
There's all that, whatever happened to Baby Jane and all these things. And it was just like 5 hours of just, we stopped in and it was like the whole set from the Friends fountain was there. We went inside. There was Central Perk from Friends, and there was the whole set from Big Bang Theory, and there was a whole bunch of like, screen used, like all the Batman and Superman stuff. There was like one of the trucks from the Harry Potter movies was up in the ceiling, and there was just so much stuff. There was like a sensory overload, but it was, we stopped in gift shops, and it was just a whole day, dude. And
you did the Pink Floyd one too, right?
Floyd, yep. Wish You Were Here album cover. There was one that he sent me, Randy, on there. It was a movie I never seen. It was called Mank. It's with Gary Oldman. I never seen it yet, but he was like, "Oh, it's right here," and he sent me the pictures. I was like, "Oh, okay." So it was right there. It's a black and white movie with Gary Oldman. He's one of my favorite actors. So no matter what he's in, I'll check it out. So that was just
he's amazing. Yeah, Gary Oldman.
Amazing.
Incredible.
I mean, so much stuff. I mean, I hit so many things there. And then from there, the plan was I wanted to eat at El Coyote because, and I had asked him previously, I'm like, so what's the deal with El Coyote? Like, is it just a big hype spot, whatever? He's like, El Coyote is it's an LA staple. And he's like, it's good. Is it the most authentic? Authentic? Probably not, but it's really good Mexican food. I'm like, fine. Like if you don't mind, if we could eat these, like, absolutely. So we ate there, and I wanted to sit and eat dinner at the booth where Sharon Tate and Abigail Folger and Wojciech Frykowski and Jay Sebring ate their last meal. But there was already people there. But when we were done, we looked over and that table cleared out. So I'm like, yo, so I threw my phone to my daughter. I'm like, yo, I'm going to sit there and take pictures. So she took the pictures of me sitting at the booth where Sharon Tate ate her last.
Yeah, it was great to see that you did that. I mean, honestly, Jimmy, I was really happy for you because I know, I've listened to every one of these podcasts and I've listened to all of your stories over the years, and I knew that the Manson stuff was really high on your list, just like
Yeah.
when you were at Alcatraz. I was really excited for
Yeah.
you in
Yeah.
Wonderland. So that just knowing that you were at these
Spawn
places,
Ranch, dude.
yeah,
Whew.
you made it to the Wave Cave. That's one you've been talking about for years.
Years, dude. And what I did was we parked in like some church parking lot, which is like over because there's nowhere to park on the side of the road. I
Right.
wasn't gonna park on the side of the road. So we parked a little bit away and we walked down this hill, and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking for a way to get down. And I look and I see like this guardrail, and I see there's stickers on the guardrail. And I'm like, I wonder if there's a Delta Bravo sticker, and there's not. But I
Yeah.
had, so I put one
Yeah,
there.
of course. Now there is.
And now there is. So I look and I see that there's a path. So I'm like, all right, like my daughter's with me. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be this is it. So I walk down, and I kind of go down like this little path, and then it takes you right, and then it's a quick left back. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to get all lost and like whatever. So I use the phone a friend option. I called
Okay.
Danny Johnson. I'm
Mhm.
like, yo, he's like, what's up? I'm like, yo, I'm at Spawn Ranch right now. I'm like, I just want to know because I know you've been here if I'm on the right track. I was like, this is what happened. I walked down the path next to the guardrail. He's like, okay, I'm going to take you from the top. I'm like, all right, I'm here. He's like, all right, you're going to go down there and then you're going to go right and it's going to swing you immediately left. I'm like, that's exactly where I'm at. He's like, on the right-hand side, you're going to see like there's a big concrete wall that's like sunken and someone wrote Spawn Ranch. It's like a graffiti piece. I'm like, I'm right next to it. He's like, dude, you're about 10 feet away from the wave cave. Just walk straight. And as I'm walking, I see the profile. I'm like, holy shit, it's right there.
That's cool.
He's like, dude, it's crazy, right? It's so much smaller than you think. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, turn around. And I turn around. He's like, you see those two trees? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's where the hammock is. And he's like, right to the left, right there. You see that big rock? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's Charlie's rock. Charlie used to sit there and play the guitar to all the people hanging out there. I'm like, yo, this is
Wow.
crazy. And he's like, after you're done there, he's like, if you walk about 20 feet and then to the right, there's a pretty steep hill. If you go up that hill, that's where all the structures and the buildings used to be. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. My daughter didn't want to go up the hill because it was super steep. She's like, Dad, just go. It's all right. I'll be here. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm like, I'll be quick. And I was. So I ran up the hill. It was super steep. And I went up, and obviously there's no more structures there, but all the mountain tops are the same. So I have all these old pictures. I'm like, holy shit. Like this, I'm like standing like right where this wagon used to be in this picture. And I'm just taking all these pictures. Of course, I took a rock from there, and then I went back down the hill, and there was a broken piece of rock from the top of the wave cave. So I took that. And then I was like, yo, it's great. My daughter's taking pictures. I'm like, this is crazy.
But no hammock nail, right?
No hammock nail, man. That was one of the first things because I was like, I want the hammock nail. So I'm looking. Either it was embedded in the tree over the last 50-something years, or someone else has it. But it was not there. I'm like, damn it, it's all right. I got an actual piece of rock from the wave cave itself without even breaking it. Like it was just loose. I just took it. But yeah, man, that was like, oof. I was like, that's it. Spawn Ranch, like bucket list.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so cool.
So how long were you in LA altogether?
4 days.
Okay.
4
And then
days.
from there, I mean, I don't want to stop you because I'm sure you could go on about
I can go
LA.
on.
Yeah. But you also did a lot more, right? You went from LA to where? Where did you go after LA?
LA to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I met up with my buddy Danny Marianino, who was recently in New York. He lives out there. He was in this band called Northside Kings. He's basically famous for knocking out Glenn Danzig like 20 years ago. It's like one of the first ever viral videos. But so I stopped at his house, and it happened to be a Sunday, and he's a big Italian guy, and it was a Sunday, and his wife Krista, super cool, nice people. They made a whole big, huge Italian dinner with homemade meatballs and stuff like that. So we had like this Italian dinner. I was like, wow, bro. I was like, it feels like when I was younger and I used to have a Sunday dinner with my family. You know what I mean? It was just really homemade. It was awesome. And then we jumped in his pool, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like palm trees in his pool. I'm in Arizona with my daughter. Rocky 3 is playing on the friggin' bar TV.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a huge Rocky fan. Yeah, so we're just hanging out. And then the next day was another chill. Well, actually, Danny, we went to go visit. There's a cemetery right there. Eddie Guerrero, who was a wrestler, was buried there along with superstar Billy Graham, which is about 100 feet away from each other. We did that. And then he was like, oh, there's, I don't know if you know, but there's a metal band called Sacred Reich. And they're from Scottsdale. He's like, yo, there's a picture from the back of their album Ignorance where it's like right down the block at a skate park. So he gave me the picture and we took a drive. He was like, it's right there. I was like, it's you can't miss it. I'm like, awesome. That was like a bonus.
Yeah.
So then the next day I met up with my old buddy, my friend Mike Gibbs, who was one of my bosses when I was stationed in New Mexico in the Air Force. Haven't seen him in like 15 years. And then before that was like 15 years before that. So I stopped there and we spent the day. We didn't do anything but hung out and reminisced and laughed and relaxed, and which was really cool to see them, him and his wife and his son. And then I hit spots from Just One of the Guys in Phoenix.
Nice.
Too.
Yeah.
So
you did a great job with those too. You really went in prepared, like you said. You were ready for class because
I was.
All of those. Those movies are some of my favorites from the 80s.
Of course, man. We grew up watching that silly stuff.
That's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Joyce Heiser.
Yeah. I was looking
and William Zabka's the bad guy. He's the bully again in that. Yeah. Greg Tolan.
His fingerless gloves. And it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. So yeah, I hit all those, and then we headed out of Arizona, and we went into Albuquerque. And
oh wait, let me stop you because you when you were out in California, you at least got your picture taken with Josh Cooper, and
that's right. Yeah,
so
he met me and Alexa at the cemetery. He actually was looking with me and Alexa for Abigail Folger's.
Okay, because the picture you took is like there's like a Home Depot or something in the background. I was like, that's what you guys.
Yeah, we went to eat. That's right. We went to eat. My bad, Josh. My bad. And he's like, yo, I got a gift for you. I wish I had it here. It's in there. But he gave me a skateboard deck.
Oh, sweet.
He gave me a skateboard deck with Delta Bravo stickers and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. Very cool.
Well, one of the reasons I brought him up, other than it's awesome that you connected with him, is you were talking about Just One of the Guys. I don't know if he's friends with Billy Jacoby, who's by Billy Zane now, but he was Buddy in Just One of the Guys.
Yes.
And he got him with like a Delta Bravo sticker. I'm not sure how that all happened, but is he friends with that guy? Oh, okay. He is. Yeah. That's cool. That's very cool.
So we actually we found Abigail Folger, Joe DiMaggio, and Wyatt Earp. We did together.
Nice.
Yeah, because it was like I said, it was like right down the block from each other. And then we went to go eat. And but you know what? Props to him, man. He drove like an hour and a half each way to come and meet me, man.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? It was super cool. And fucking great dude, man. And it was really nice. And I also met up. His name is Cody McCarthy, Cody Mack. I met up with him. He lives in Burbank, so he was like, yo, I would like to meet up with you, blah, blah, blah. Even if it's take a quick picture, meet in person. So I was like, all right. So I gave him the address to the diamond wholesaler from fucking Reservoir Dogs.
Nice.
Because it's in Burbank. So I was like, oh, I have an address where we could meet.
Oh, one thing we skipped over. You also went to the pawn shop, right?
Oh, my God. And the Safari Inn.
Yeah, from Pulp Fiction, right? So
bro, that shit was crazy, too. Dude, I walk in that pawn shop and you have to get buzzed in and stuff because it's a pawn shop. And there's guys behind glass. I'm like, how you doing? I'm like, would you mind if I take... I was like, if I buy... Because I feel like I'm in a store and I don't want to be in there just taking pictures and then leave. So I'm like, if I buy something, can I take a bunch of pictures because of Pulp Fiction? He's like, yeah, if you buy something. I'm like, all right, cool. And he was the owner. He was an old man. I don't remember his name. He was a Russian guy. And super, super nice, and just started chatting it up with me because he was so proud of the fact, and he loves the fact that Pulp Fiction was filmed there. So much so that the shelves have not moved since the movie was made. All of the shelves are the exact same, and the carpet is the exact same from the movie.
Amazing. Now, there's no basement there, right?
There isn't, because I learned something that day because I asked them, of course, because I was prepared with basement shots. I was like, I know the answer's probably going to be no because it's behind the glass and whatever. I'm like, what are the chances that I could take pictures down in the basement? He's like, there's no basements in California. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, because of earthquakes. I'm like, you know what? That makes complete sense. He's like, no, that was not filmed here. It wasn't filmed. There's no basement here. I'm like, no shit. But I was prepared just in case. You know, crazy. But so what I did, are you frozen? You're frozen. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you. What happened, Andy? Technical difficulties, people. Huh. Well, a sponsor of the mission. Oh, he's out. What happened? Shout out to Kevin Bednarz. He is a sponsor. His businesses are a sponsor of the Mission Statement podcast. Purcellville EATS, the Purcellville Pub, and the Ashburn Pub, all in Purcellville and Ashburn, Virginia. He is doing an event in November called Grind. It's a pop-up art show in Leesburg, Virginia. Just type in Grind on Facebook or Kevin Bednarz, Bednarz, and check it out. I was there last year and it was awesome, and I will be there again this year, 100%. I don't know where Andy went. Hopefully this we don't have to do all this over again. Shall see. Let's see. All right, we're back after some technical difficulties. It's all good though. It's fine, man. It's no big deal.
All my fault, and I'm glad that it's probably going to be seamless when people listen back.
Yeah. Well, there might be. I was like, "Yo, where'd you go?" And I shouted out Kevin real quick and the sponsor.
Oh, good. All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So technical difficulties on my part. I think I'm backwards or mirror image, but anyway, we're back, and you were talking about the pawn shop in LA.
Yeah. So he asked me. So I asked about the basement, this and that. So I'm taking all these pictures, and he's showing me pictures that he has hanging of him and friggin' Ving Rhames, and Bruce Willis is there with a bloody shirt and stuff like that, taking pictures. So I was looking around. I was like, what the hell? I was asking my daughter, I'm like, what do you want? Like, it's a pawn shop. There's jewelry, there's all kinds of stuff. So I wound up buying, it was like $50. I was like, you know what? So I wound up buying a silver piece dollar. A piece dollar. So I don't know why. But I was like, yeah, I'll take one of them. So anyway, but he was super, super, super cool. I took a million pictures in there, and they came out good.
They were great, man. And what about, like, you should have bought a samurai sword, but also
he actually had a samurai sword in there, but it wasn't like where Bruce Willis found it. It was like up on the other side. And actually,
but man, your mashes were amazing. I just have to say, you have gotten so good at the mashes. I know maybe that goes without saying, but I feel like you've upped your game. Like, they're just beautiful. I think and not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but when you were in Tulsa and you did the black and white Outsiders House photos, they're stunning. I mean, these are pieces of art. I've always sort of thought that, and now, I mean, seeing what you've done, it's been really amazing.
Yeah, well, a lot of times what helped me, like I said earlier before technical difficulties, is that nothing in that store has changed in the pawn shop. So it's like, okay, I'm looking at a screenshot of, Bruce Willis about to shoot Ving Rhames on the floor, and the gate on the outside of the front window is the same. The shelves off to the left are the same. Like, one of them is like a little bit off in the screenshot, and it's everything is the same. So it's like, this is easy. This is like, I just have to stand here. This is how I do it. Like, I'll get like a focal point. Like, there'll be like a house and a telephone pole, and the telephone pole runs through the second window of
Yeah.
that house. So you go and you line up that thing, and you maybe have to back up or whatever, but that's how you get it. And I was doing the same thing with the shelves on the walls, and it was a little bit confusing because there's different objects on the shelves, but the shelves are the same. I'm like, all right, this could work. This is easy. So I was in there for about 20 minutes to a half hour talking with that guy, and that was just another cool experience where it's like, yeah, man, just if you buy something, you can take all the pictures. I'm like, that's cool. It's like, all right, I got this coin. It's like, instead of taking like a rock or something, like, yeah, where'd you get that coin? Oh, I got it from the pawn shop from fucking Pulp Fiction. Like,
that's a bucket list spot. I mean, that movie is so iconic,
dude.
and that scene is so friggin' crazy, and
Yeah.
like it's so. They just I listened to this podcast called Rewatchables, and they just did that movie, and the people that were hosting that episode just all talk about that being such an important movie, like one of the most important movies, and that
I also
scene
found
and
Monster Joe's junkyard too.
really.
I put those up as well. Where they
Where the wolf comes,
yeah, when the wolf comes and they dispose of Marvin in
Marvin. Oh, gee.
Yeah, I shot Marvin in the face.
What a crazy.
Man, the car didn't hit no motherfucking bump. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, so yeah, we found Monster Joe's, and I took shots of that, and then even like it's just basically you turn around and they're wearing the stupid clothes, and it's your future, a taxi ride. Move out of the sticks, kids.
And you found that house, right? You found a house too, right?
I didn't go to the house.
Jimmy's house? No,
I didn't go to the house.
I feel like somebody did. Somebody found like it wasn't even, it was an outtake photo.
Yes.
It wasn't even in the movie.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, recently. Yeah.
So I hit those. My daughter appreciated that because she likes that movie too. And then there was another thing. What else was there? There was something else that I was like, oh shit, there was that too. The pawn shop. And then there was oh man, there was so many, like Back to the Future, Blood In, Blood Out. I hit a couple of spots for Blood In, Blood Out. Nightmare on Elm Street house. I hit the Space Jam house only because Michael Jordan was in it. The warehouse. There's another thing, like where the warehouse used to be in Reservoir Dogs. I didn't make it there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make it to the corner of where Bruce Willis sees Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I know that was on my list. I didn't.
That's right by. I think that's right by G-Sun. I think that's in Atwater Village.
It probably is.
So yeah, I missed all of the Bad News Bear stuff. I wanted to do that up in Chatsworth.
But I did hit the Safari Inn from True Romance.
I did too. I did that one too.
Dude, I went up to the second floor.
Same.
I know that they didn't film it in there, but they would have been staying in room 208.
Yep.
I was on that side, and it was like you look right there, and you get that one overhead shot.
Yep. I know. Dude. Yeah, that's the one I was with you on that one.
Yeah, that's another place where there's posters and frames in there showing the movies that were filmed.
Yeah.
It's like you can go there and take pictures. It's like
it's funny when you were in Pasadena and you did the Back to the Future house. I think we opted instead because we were in Pasadena briefly, and we went and we did the David Lee Roth prom photo. That was one. So I
remember that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And the Van Halen. There's a couple of Van Halen spots. There's a Van Halen house where they grew up, and then there's also them writing Van Halen in wet cement when they were kids. Nice. So I love all that. That's all Pasadena too. So look, I backed us up because we had left LA and we went to Scottsdale. And you were with your friend who made you the big Italian dinner.
Yes, my friend.
And then pick it up from there.
Oh, no, wait, hold on. There's a couple of things from LA still. I hit American History X spots.
Oh, right. Oh, man.
Dude, that was great. I wanted to get inside Venice High School, but it was like I don't know, it was a weekend. It might have been a Saturday or something, and they were completely closed. But that's one place where I wanted to get it because I wanted to get into the men's bathroom on the first floor because that's where Edward Furlong gets killed at the end of that movie. Also, just as a weird thing to do because I would be in there, that's also where there's a Britney Spears video that was filmed in the hallway.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would have got that. I got some grease shots from outside Venice High School.
Yeah, we got booted out of Venice High School because we walked past a chain link fence that was put up, but it wasn't securely closed. So we kind of
Uh,
just pushed it open. We
yeah.
walked in and we did all of the summer lovin' stuff where they
Awesome.
were singing in the courtyard behind. But then we got somebody's like, "Why are you guys here? Get out of here!" And they called the principal on us, which I thought
That's
was kind
awesome.
of funny.
Gonna
And
go to the dean's office.
so
Awesome.
we ended up leaving, but that was we did Randy's Donuts and then we did Venice High School.
Nice.
Those were the first spots we hit when we were out there last year. But anyway,
I
I
want. I
digress.
really wanted to hit Terminator spots, the Griffith
Yeah.
Observatory. I did not make it there. I got stuff. I got shots from the movie Body Double in Long Beach, which was a 1984 Brian De Palma movie. If you watch it, it's terrible now, but I love that movie still, even though it's bad.
But that whole scene on the beach in that building where she's on the
Yeah,
balcony, as I saw you, I know that movie really well for
yeah, me
sure.
too.
And yeah, and I'm a pretty big Brian De Palma fan as
Yeah,
well. But
yeah.
but I saw you got those, and I should just mention, and I know I've talked about it elsewhere, but you were you were with us in spirit when we were at Griffith Observatory last year because we used the ID badges to get up there and park because everyone they were sending everyone back down the mountain because you could drive up there, but it was so crowded. They were like, "You guys can't be here," and we're like, "We have ID. We're press," and we showed
That's
the
so
Jimmy
good.
Ferrari. That was all Danny. That was all Danny Johnson. But we were in the follow-up car. We heard he did that, and it's all I did was hold mine out, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's press too," and they let us go in.
Dude, I love that. First of all, that you guys were prepared with that thing, and then it worked. I
It
fucking
worked.
love it.
It was beautiful because
I love it.
they weren't letting anybody else up there, and we ended up getting up there just fine because we were pressed.
You needed to have the Delta Bravo credentials, bro.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. We hit stuff in. My daughter wanted to hit stuff from the doors, so we did stuff on Venice Beach.
Hmm.
I mean, Jesus Christ, there was so much. One
You
thing,
did Muscle Beach. You did Danny Trejo.
Trejo,
Yeah.
did that. There was also in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. We were there on a Saturday, and I wanted to go in. I asked the guy, like one of the security guys, because I wanted to go into the Beth Olam Holocaust Mausoleum, Memorial Mausoleum. Um, Bugsy Siegel is in there, but that would have been cool. But the reason why I wanted to go in there is that's where they filmed the funeral scene where they put Mickey in Rocky 3 in the wall.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was Saturday and it was the Sabbath and that mausoleum was closed.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh God, the main reason why I wanted to be there.
Yeah. I'm
But
Rocky 3. Yeah.
yeah, man. So it's all right. I mean, listen, you can't get them all.
When we were at Hollywood Forever, we did those Herb Ritz photos of Madonna,
Yes.
one on the bench and one by the cross tombstone.
Yep.
Those were really cool, and that was kind of a layup once you're in there.
Yep.
It's a matter of matching it up.
Yep. There was a screenshot from a Lana Del Rey video because my daughter loves her. That was down in Venice, which I matched up perfectly. Yeah. So I mean, after LA, then we hit the Sacred Reich spot in Scottsdale. I did Just One of the Guys stuff, and then after that, we headed into Albuquerque.
Okay.
And that's where Albuquerque. I didn't care about anything in Albuquerque except for Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and Better Call Saul, right? I mean, it's just everywhere you go.
Same thing, man. And that was all super easy. It was like right there. I had all the addresses and everything. I thought that I was going to have a run-in with the friggin' crazy lady who lives in Walter White's house.
Yeah.
It was nothing. I was prepared to get yelled at. You know,
I've heard.
Even my daughter, like, she knew all about it. She's like, oh, no. As we were driving, I was like, look at this lady. She has cones. She was like, oh, my God. And then she was
huge
like,
fence and everything. Yeah.
Yo, dude, she had like like an SUV in the driveway with the hatch up.
Oh, right. Just to ruin people's pictures.
Blankets up. I'm like, what? And at first I thought that she was like out, like maybe like taking groceries out of like the back of the truck and bringing it in the house, something, but it was nowhere. And there's like 7 signs, take your pictures from across the street. There's cameras everywhere. I'm like, whatever. So parked, and as I park, another car pulls up with 3 people in it, 2 guys and a girl. I think they were French. They hardly spoke English. And I looked, I'm like, they were like, I was like, all right, well, if she starts yelling, I guess it's like strength in numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there was no. They took their little pictures, and I'm getting closer to get my different angles of different screenshots I have. And I was like, you know what? It's not. So I went over and I took a rock right from the rock garden from her front yard, and I took it. But yeah, there was no.
Didn't Danny O'Connor gave you one of those
Yes,
too,
he
right?
did. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, I have dirt and stuff from Spawn Ranch from somebody else that sent it to me, but I have my
Yeah.
own. I have
Yeah,
Danny's
sure.
rocks. I have Danny's rocks from Breaking Bad. I have my own. You know,
Yeah, one of the picket fence pieces from Dealey Plaza.
the grassy knoll. That's in my living room in a shadow box. That thing is
Right.
awesome.
Uh,
I have a lot of pieces of the Branch Davidian compound.
So you did Twisters or whatever that plate, not Twisters. What's it called? It's like
Twisters. Yeah,
that's the real name, right?
that's the real name of Los Pollos Hermanos.
Right.
It was
And
the
that, but
worst food ever.
but the interior spots you did were great, man. Like that's so
It's
cool.
basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that, and then
You did Jesse and Jesse's apartment, right?
Jesse and Jane's apartment. I did Tuco's headquarters.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, yeah.
Man, did Tuco's headquarters. I did the car wash. I did Saul's office.
See, now I want to watch all that. I'm going to start it all again because
it's so good, dude.
those scenes are amazing. Yeah.
So all of that was Albuquerque. We hit all of that on our way into Albuquerque before we even checked into the hotel.
Really?
So, yeah, all of it. Because it was. I mean, everything was within like 4 miles of each other. Everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then the next morning, because it was an hour outside of Albuquerque on our way, because the next spot was Tulsa, was in Santa Fe, was the spot. It's one of my personal favorite mashes and spots that I've ever found, was the railroad track where they robbed the methylamine freight train.
Yeah. And now, how did you know where that was?
I found coordinates.
Okay.
Just, the numbers. So
yeah,
you put that in, and on Google Maps, it's the bridge. You see it.
Wow.
It's like, okay, cool. But I put those coordinates in, and I'm driving. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, dude, because I wanted to leave super early to get to Tulsa at a reasonable hour, because it was like a 9.5-hour drive from Albuquerque to Tulsa. So we left at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was about an hour outside in Santa Fe. So I had the coordinates in, and I'm driving, and it's Spur Ranch Road, and it says make a right. So I make a right. Next thing you know, we're on a gravel road, and it's like 2.5 miles. And I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, all 4 of these tires on this rental are going to blow. I'm like, we're in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, I'm just taking it easy. My daughter's like half asleep. She could care less. She's on her phone. She's tired. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. We're in the middle of nowhere. So and then it goes, your destination is on the right. And I stop, and there ain't shit, dude. There is nothing.
Wow.
I'm like, all right, well, I gotta look, I gotta explore, man. So I'm like, Alexa, you want to come? She's like, nope. I'm like, really? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, hang out here. I know you're good because there's no one here. So she's like, go do your thing, Dad. I don't care. I'm like, all right, fine. So I get out, and I just start walking. Now I'm an idiot because I'm running around.
Oh my God.
Like I'm in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's the dead of summer in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. Dude, there's like rattlesnakes and scorpions and shit. You know what I mean?
And the sun.
And the sun. And I'm running around like it's okay. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So I'm running around and I'm looking. I'm like, yo, I was like, no way. So I look, I'm probably about 50 yards maybe in. And I'm looking around, and I kind of did this small like little hills. And I'm like, and I go a little bit further, and then I see there's like a dip. So I see the dip, and I'm like, I think that might be something over there. So I'm not knowing 100%. So I go, I'm like, I'm here, so I'm fucking going. So I go, and I'm probably about another 50 yards, and then I see another dip, and then I kind of see the top of it. It's an out of commission railroad track.
Right.
Nowhere, dude. So I'm like, there it is. And now that I see, it's probably about 20 yards away from me. So I run.
But it's not a continuous track. It's just a section of track.
No, it's a continuous track, but it's ground level.
Okay.
It's even with the ground. There's just some dips and hills where that hit. That the shot that you see, it's just like a little dip. That's all
Yeah.
it is. It's not like crazy at all. There's no water, nothing. So
Right.
so bro, I get really close to it and I walk down this little hill, and then I have the shot of them on top because I have to figure out what side of the railroad track it's taken from. So
Yeah.
I go down this hill and I'm walking back up to get onto the tracks, and I hear people talking.
What?
I'm like,
Really?
yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like this couple, maybe in their like mid-50s, a woman and a man, and they're like, good morning. And I'm like, good morning. Like, how are you? It's like there's like a couple that lives, I don't know where, like hiking, like on a morning hike. I'm just like,
Wow.
good morning. Like, how are you? Oh, have a nice day. And they just kept on going. I'm like, well, that was fucking weird.
Probably
So like,
Drew Sharp's parents looking for him, right?
yeah, I was just like, of all places, like there's nothing out here. And he's hi. I'm like, okay. I'm like,
Wasn't that the kid's name? Wasn't that the kid's name, Drew
yeah,
Sharp? That
dude,
Todd shoots?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Because everything's great, and that kid comes up with he's
yeah.
riding his motorcycle,
Right.
and then
Oh,
Todd messes the whole thing up. Man, what
what
a great
what
scene.
a great scene, great
The
show.
whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I get up on top. I take now. I have to look because way in the distance you could see buildings on one side. And I was like, that's not this one, so it's this way. So I took that one on the tracks, and then I went on the other side. I walked down this hill, and I'm looking. And I'm like, I'm right here. Like the fucking truck was right here. The methylamine was. I'm like, this is it. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah.
I took a bunch of pictures. I took a stupid selfie on purpose with just like my ear and a part of my face on purpose, just for whatever reason, just to be dumb. And then I took a rock. I had to take a rock, and it looks like a sweet potato. It's like that big, but
Hmm.
it's my methylamine.
So wait, did you have to get back on a plane with all this stuff? Like, what do they say at the
Yeah,
airport?
bro.
What do they
I had
think?
a sack of rubble, bro.
What
Yeah.
do they, I mean, what do
No,
they
they
say
didn't
at
say
the
nothing.
airport?
No,
Really?
they
They
didn't
don't,
say
oh
nothing.
my
And
gosh.
see, I'm a lunatic because I had like post-it notes, right? So I had a pack of post-it notes, and I took sandwich baggies. So
To
certain,
label everything.
yeah, just to write it and then throw it in the bag, just so I know.
Okay. Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And then later
Sure.
on, when I come home, I put it in all my mason jars like a wacko. But so then I'm like, all right, now I have to get back to my daughter. Now I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this could be like a horror movie where I have to get back to my daughter, but I take a wrong turn and I'm lost in the desert. You know what I mean? So I finally make it back, and I'm like, how you doing? She's like, fine. She's like, did you get your shot? I'm like, yeah. I was like, the things we do for the shot. She's like, no, the things you do for the shot.
Yeah. Oh
I'm like,
man,
yeah, well,
that's
you're along for the
turned
ride.
out
She's like, whatever.
great. It turned out amazing though.
That was one of my
Those are
favorites.
Yeah, they really
Yeah,
I mean, just because not everybody knows where that is, not everybody's hit that. That's the
yeah.
thing. Like, everything's so saturated now. People, and I love it. I love that people are getting the same things over and over again. Home Alone house
Oh,
and Ferris Bueller's house and all that. But it's so cool when you find something that only a few people have been able to kind of track down and really
yeah.
figure out where was this like that. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's all. I was standing there for a minute. And I was just like, I probably said it out loud too. I was like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "This is cool. This is crazy." Like,
Yeah.
I'm in the scene because it's nothing obviously
Right,
staged.
right.
It's like this is it. It's unmistakable. So
Well,
yeah,
the people the location scouts for these shows, like they do some
yo,
really,
that's another thing. I was like, first of all, how do they find this? And then it's
yeah,
not like, oh, it's off on the side of the road. We set up and we shoot. No, this is
right.
out there, dude.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
like it's not easy.
But
But
so many of those rock formations, and whenever they were cooking in the Winnebago, all that stuff.
mhm,
I mean, when Hank gets killed at the end, spoiler alert. But when that, I mean, that whole shootout scene, like,
yeah,
where's that? And I know people have found it. People have tracked it all down from the beginning of the show when he's with the pilot episode where they're cooking, where he's out in the middle of
one of the
nowhere.
greatest first opening scenes of any show ever. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
why is there a guy in tighty whities with bodies and two guns? Like, what's
yeah.
happening here? Like this is
Yeah, and the way they wrap it up, where he thinks they're after him, and they're just going to put out a fire that
yeah.
he he started. So
And he started it. You find
yeah,
out later on. Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
those Breaking Bad spots were bucket list for me.
I bet. Yeah, man, that's so cool. So you're in Albuquerque. You do it's all Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
And how long were you there?
we just stayed the night.
Oh
We
wow, okay.
it was basically it was a way to get from it was a stopping because it was like 16 hours from where we were in Arizona all the way to Tulsa. So
And
it's
that
like,
was in
all right.
between.
So I was like, let's do Albuquerque because that's like 5 hours or whatever, and then it's like 9.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was a good. Plus, I wanted to hit it. Plus, it was a good stopping point just to
Yeah.
spend the night, just get some rest, and then up early in the morning and go.
And then you went to Tulsa.
And then we went right up into Tulsa, and we got there a little bit later. The museum wasn't open. You know, I called up Danny. I let him know I was there, and he gave me the code for the Greaser hideout. And you know, thank you for Danny for the hospitality, obviously for everything. So we hung out. My daughter was in her glory. You know what I mean? She's just like, and I'm looking, and I had bought like one of the bricks, and it's it's for my mother from me and my
Yeah.
daughter, and she got to see that, and and there was another brick that I had bought, but I got rid of it, and well, that's a whole other story.
So she loved the Greaser hideout, right?
Loved it, loved it. She was on the phone with her mom, and she was like, "This is so cool." She's taking pictures, telling her friends, and it's like I'm over here. I'm right in front of the outsider's house, and we were walking around a little bit, and I showed her like where Johnny's house was, which is like right down the block, and then around the block
Crutchfield Park.
is where at Crutchfield Park, and then around where they shot the Rumble scene, I showed her, and then we were just chilling. Like that day was pretty much just chill.
And who did you meet? You met a bunch of Outsiders House people
Well,
out there.
yeah, and what's funny is that I felt like I knew them already anyway because we're all
Right.
on Facebook. It's all the same thing. But Amy Osborne, Amy who does all the tours and stuff like that. Now the last time I was there, the museum was closed that day, and it was just me and Danny. And I looked around for a little while and whatever. Went to the gift shop and stuff, but that was basically it. And then me and Danny and we just started hitting spots and stuff.
Right.
But this time, like, Amy knew that I was staying at the Greaser hideout, and they opened up at 11, so it's like 10:30. I'm sitting outside on the porch, just it's super quiet, and I see her walking, and she looks over at me, and she waits, and there's people waiting to get into the house, and they're
Yeah.
not open yet. And she comes over and she gives me a hug and nice to meet you and this and that, and then she opened up the house, and then we went in, and she was giving us the tour and this and that, and then I went into the gift shop, and then I personally met Camille, and she's awesome. Like I felt like I knew her already. I'm like, how are you? Give her a hug and what's going on and bullshit, and it was incredible. And yeah, and then from there, like I went up there, I got coffee for them, and then we went to go eat something, and then I showed my daughter because Danny was busy doing other things, but I knew we were going to meet up later on, and then instead of just staying at the house the entire time, I took my daughter. I showed her the DX.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. That's
Yeah,
cool.
of course, like the 52 pickup spot.
Did you see the inside of the renovated
Yes.
okay.
Yes. It's still in the works. And I was
Yeah.
looking for Gary. Gary wasn't there.
Okay.
I'm not sure who she was, but she was a super nice lady. I asked if Gary was there, and we just looked around real quick, and then we left because they didn't look like they were open. I felt like I was.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Because when we were there last year, they had just started that. And the coolest thing, I thought it was cool, the stools
it's Sewell's.
where they sit,
Yeah.
they couldn't move them. The metal was like rooted in the ground, and they couldn't, even when they were going to renovate it, they couldn't move them. So you could picture where the stools were, where they did the deleted scene
Yeah.
inside that spot. So that's that Rexall spot, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I showed her that, and shit, what else did we see? I mean, I was driving around, and then we went back to the museum for a little while.
Wasn't there a second accident at that?
Yeah, someone crashed into the fucking.
But twice, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, insane.
That's unbelievable.
Like, why there? Why are you
Yeah.
crashing into this building constantly?
That's so weird. Yeah.
Yep. And then eventually, then I linked up with Danny, and we went to the Mayo Hotel, and we met there. And it was the first time my daughter had seen him since Kevin Bednar's did it. It was called the All-Star Comic Con like
Oh, right.
6
Yeah.
years ago or something like that. So we went out to eat and we were bullshitting and it was super cool and just shooting the shit about, you know, the spots that I had hit and, you know, just catching up. And then, so that was kind of, you know, we ate and we, you know, we chopped it up for a little while and then he had stuff to do and then I had stuff to do. And then we, I was going to, from there, we went to Oklahoma City. So I had been to the,
Right.
I've been to the bombing. I was at the bombing memorial 3 years ago, but I didn't go into the museum. I just was at the thing. So I was like, you know, I felt like I wanted to show my daughter that. She was unfamiliar with the whole.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Right.
So, but she was just like, wow, she was super moved by it all and how clean and how respectful everything was. And then I was like, you want to go into the museum? I was never in the museum. So we went in there, dude, and it was a lot heavier than I thought. And it didn't freak my daughter out, but it made her feel like a certain type of way, man. It was crazy. Like, I won't get really too into it, but like you go in and then there's a room that you go into and you can't get out of the room like until a certain point. And it's a pretty much empty room with a bench in there. And there's a table, a simple wooden desk with like a plastic box with a tape recorder and a phone. And that's all it is. And the door closes and a recording starts. And it's like a regular, like a municipal water, it's about water systems and certain kind of municipal stuff, building stuff that has to do with Oklahoma City. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? You know what I mean? It's just very weird. Like, this is weird. And it was just basically like a morning briefing. And then this is going on for like 3 minutes. And next thing you know, the lights flicker on purpose and explosion. So that's the recording that was happening right before the bomb went off. And then as soon as the explosion happens, the entire wall lights up with every face of every person that was there.
Oh my God, really?
Bro, I was just like, whoa, I just got chills now. And even my daughter was like, yo. And then the door opens up and then you go to another one. They had Timothy McVeigh's car, pieces of the U-Haul. It was crazy, dude.
Yeah, I remember. I think you've been there too. I think we talked about it, but I went to the Shanksville Flight 93 memorial.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I was really emotional there, and I wanted to leave because it was just so heavy, man. It's like
it was super heavy, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, I donated to the museum and I bought something, you know, because the museum and whatever. I was like, wow, man. And then I was like, you know, any movies filmed in Oklahoma City. And then it was a cool horror movie called Splinter. And it was like right there. I was like, it was like old abandoned gas station that was abandoned before they made the movie. They cleaned it up for the movie and then they left and it's still abandoned and it's still there.
That's funny.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like right on like this weird little triangle corner. I just did those. And then I was in the gym at the hotel. We were supposed to fly out the next morning. I was like, Alexa, you want to come to the gym with me? She's like, yeah, why not? I'll run on the treadmill for a little bit. So we're in the gym for like 10 minutes. I get an email from American Airlines that my flight was canceled.
Oh, right.
Same day as the whole IT whatever thing.
That's right.
I'm like, really? But good thing, like I was supposed to come back on a Saturday, but I wasn't going back to work until the following Wednesday. So I was like, all right. So I went right to the front desk. I told the guy, I'm like, listen, I might need. It said that they're going to try to rebook me or whatever. But I was like, I don't know how long that's going to take. So I might as well secure a room if we have to stay. So he's like, yeah, no problem. And he gave me this awesome rate for the room. And I was like, fine. And then like an hour later, I got it. And it was for the following day on Sunday at like 7:30 in the morning. So I got an extra day. So
nice.
It was a few, like I posted something about it. And then a bunch of people hit me up. And then I gotta give a shout out to Camille Stottlemyre because she was one of the people that hit me up and she's like, well, what are you guys gonna do? You know, I was like, well, I don't have any plans because this was the plan. You know, I don't have anything else. You know, what else am I gonna do in Oklahoma City? So she asked what my daughter was into. And, you know, I was going back and forth with her and she was like, you know, there's a whole bunch of vintage shops and stuff like that in Tulsa if you want to come out. I was like, I don't care. I drove, I don't know how many thousands of miles anyway. What's another hour and 15 minutes back to Tulsa? So I went back to Tulsa. We met her at a Starbucks. We got into a convertible Mustang that she had. And we were driving around. She took my daughter to like 6 different vintage. So she racked up my kid. That was like all about my daughter. There was all kinds of stores that we went to. It was just like, It was a whole full day, and I just basically I focused on my daughter for the most
That's
part.
awesome.
And just bought her a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know where the hell we're gonna fit all this stuff because we're leaving with a lot more stuff than we came with.
Yeah.
Animals from Warner Brothers, a bag of rocks, all
Bag
kinds
of rocks. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but it was we made everything fit somehow. I had a skateboard and like a skateboard deck. I'm like, how am I doing this?
When
But
did
yeah,
you get down to, did you go to is it called Sepulveda?
Sepulpa, I didn't.
Sepulpa. You know, I thought you did. I thought you did the motorcycle boys.
That was in Tulsa.
That's in Tulsa?
That's a high school in Tulsa.
Okay, because most of the rest of the movie was filmed down there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in Tulsa.
Oh, okay.
That's why when I put it up, I tagged Camille in it.
Okay.
Because I was like, listen, before we go to these vintage shops, I have 2 spots that I want to hit. And that was Crutchfield Park, but for some reason I forgot to do that, which was obviously not far from the Starbucks. It was like down the road from the museum. And then we hit the high school, and then it was all about my daughter.
Okay. I don't know why I always thought that all of Rumblefish was filmed in Sepulpa.
That high school was in Tulsa.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah, but I was like, I never hit a Rumblefish spot. I was like, it's right there. It's
Yeah.
something different than the Outsiders. So let me just do it. Yeah, man.
Nice.
It was such a. We ate at the Rainbow Room. My daughter loved the Rainbow Bar. Like my daughter thought that was awesome. She's looking at all the bricks of all the bands, the Doors, and this and that Corn, and all these bands.
Oh, speaking of that, when you were there, you went up to that little vampire society room.
Dude,
did you go up into that little space? Because I posted the video on your thread.
I did. Now I have to give a huge. The chances of her even ever watching this are fucking far and few between. But the waitress that we had, her name was Brooke. Shout out to Brooke. Brooke rules. She's, we get food and whatever, and then I was like, listen, I have a stupid touristy question to ask you. And she just started laughing. She's like, what's up? I'm like, so I had the picture ready, the Alice Cooper picture. I'm like, I know this is in here somewhere, but I need to take pictures in this space. She's like, oh, that's upstairs, but my manager has the key and it's closed. It's there's nobody up there. It's empty right now. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. All right, well, no big deal. She's like, give me a couple minutes. She comes back and she looks at my daughter first and then looks at me and she goes, come with me if you want to live. I was like, let's go. I was like, Alexa, Let's go. Come on, let's go. So we follow her up and she opens it up and we're in there. And it's just me, Brooke, and my daughter. And I'm just like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, man.
Taking pictures. And then she's like and then she started like letting me know things, which now if I go back, I already know what I'm gonna do. She's like in the booth that's right behind you. And as we walk down, she's pointing, there's a woman sitting there. She points to the woman. She's like, right there is where Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe had their first date. Mm-hmm. And I looked and I found the picture. I'm like, oh shit. And she's like, that booth back over there, which was packed with people, that's where Motley Crue filmed the Girls video. I'm like, oh, that's crazy, dude. So now I'm sitting at the table watching the Girls video, looking for screenshots. Maybe they'll leave, but I couldn't. But so now the plan is for next year, because I was dead set originally on going to Europe because it's my 50th birthday is going to be next September. I'm like, you know what's going to be cool? 50th birthday, I'm going to Europe. Now, my daughter started throwing Hawaii out there. Now, I'm like, I'm not opposed to that either. I've never been in it. Plus, it's part of my 50 states that I need to hit.
Sure, yeah.
Now, there's also spots in California that my daughter still wants to hit and spots that I still want to hit.
Right.
So, it's either going to be Europe or we're going to fly back into LA and stay there for like 4 days. And then from there, hop over to Hawaii for like 10 days and then fly home.
That sounds amazing. You should totally do it.
It's either that or Europe. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's going to be one or the other.
And Europe's like, there's a lot of countries there that you could narrow it down. You could go to Italy. You could go to England.
I have a lot of Europe mapped out of the things that I want to do and see.
Mm-hmm.
Like several days, and it would be more of like not necessarily movies, but more of like historical shit.
Sure, of course.
Stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I want to spend 4 days in France by Normandy, and I just want to walk all of those beaches. You know what I mean? I know off the top of my head of one spot that's it's the Normandy Memorial Museum, Omaha Beach Memorial Cemetery, where they filmed the very beginning of Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
Very beginning when he's first walking to the, then he collapses.
Sure.
That was right there. But other than that, like I just want to walk on those beaches. I mean, it's morbid, but I want to do the Auschwitz tour. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do that stuff. I want to the touristy shit. Like some of it I have to do. Like I want to see the Coliseum, dude. You know what I mean? Like I want to see Circus Maximus where they used to race the chariots and shit. You know, like stuff like that. I want to see. I know that there's a spot in. It's called the Trim Castle. It's about 50 miles or kilometers or whatever west of Dublin, Ireland, and they extended the castle there. It's called the Trim Castle, and they extended it to look exactly like it was the castle, and that's where they filmed the scene in Braveheart with the giant flaming battering ram.
Yeah.
To the castle, they filmed it there.
Wow, that's cool.
There's a hotel called the Trim Castle. It's like the Trim Hotel, which is right there. I'm like, I want to get like the top floor and like open my thing in the morning, and there's a 14th century, whatever it is, medieval ruins outside my window. Like I want to do
amazing.
Yeah.
So you have this new thing where you've sort of we thrown down the gauntlet once again, where you created all 50.
Yeah.
And I know you also have a trip coming up in September. Yes. I don't know if it's for sure yet, but
it's for sure. It's for sure.
Okay, so
I'm probably it's all mapped out. I'm probably going to book everything most likely tomorrow. We're on podcast
and
time, but tomorrow.
That's Louisiana. That's Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi.
Yes, because on my map, I have, if once I get those three are a cluster of states that I don't have yet. I don't have those three, and I don't have Maine. But everything from California, the entire southern border, except for those three states, all the way up the East Coast are done, except for Maine and those three.
Yeah.
So after these three get done, it'll be 30 states.
That's great. I don't know what my count is, and it's funny. We have different states. Like I've been to some that you haven't, and you have been to some that I haven't. But yeah, it's what a great game. I love that you have this new idea of getting all 50.
All 50. It's like, all right, all city. I'm going all 50. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's so much to it, dude. It's like, Delta Bravo, no, man. It's like, I'll see every single state. I'll eat a meal in every single state. I'll stay in a hotel in every single state. I'll experience every single state for if it's a few days or even if it's for a day or two.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to go and see things and experience things. And what a perfect way to do it is with doing this stuff, dude. It's like, why would I ever go to why would I go to Mississippi, really? You know what I mean? But I know that there's spots there. So I could drive through, because I've always wanted to go to New Orleans. And that's bucket list. Angel Homes and all this, bro. But
have you ever been to New Orleans?
Never.
Oh, it's wild. It's like going to another country. It's really different. The French Quarter is really, really unique. And I think you're gonna love it. I know Danny set the bar pretty high.
I was talking with him before.
Yeah, he did some great stuff down there.
Yeah.
It's a great city. It's got a lot. It's really not like any other place in the United States, which is kind of cool.
I can't wait. So I'm going. If I'm almost positive, but it's going to be. I will be landing in New Orleans on my birthday on September 5th.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? I work. I do what I'm supposed to do. I'm responsible. I'm going. I don't care.
You're 49 this year, right?
49 this year.
All right.
I'm like, cool. I used all of my vacation time. I have no vacation time because of my last trip. But my boss is cool as hell, and I have like 7 sick days. I'm like, dude, can I take like 3 sick days? He's like, I don't care. He's like, as long as we have coverage. I'm like, dude, I want to take a Thursday, a Friday, and a Monday. He's like, I don't care. Do what you want to do. I'm like, all right, beautiful.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah,
funny too because like I look at going up to New York the way you look at going on these trips. So I still
yeah.
come
It
up
was a
and
toss up too. I'm like, am I gonna just drive? And I have a whole itinerary going up to Maine. I have a whole bunch of stuff up in Saratoga Springs, crossing over, hitting Vermont, New Hampshire, and then Maine. Spots all on the way, making a long weekend out of that. But I'm like, I would take the same amount of days off, but why not hit 3 different states and go down there and hit those three? I could
especially
always hit
like
Maine.
yeah, like something that you're unfamiliar with. That's
Right.
exciting.
I could always hit Maine. I'll wait until like next fall to hit Maine when it's beautiful up there. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Maine is beautiful. If
I've never been.
And there's a lot. Yeah, you probably seen I'm on this sort of art kick where I'm
Yeah.
going where like famous paintings are,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of that up in Maine. There's a lot like Christina's World. Andrew Wyeth's painting was up there. I know you already have Cape Elizabeth on your list, and Port Clyde. Port Clyde is where the lighthouse is, where Forrest Gump turns around.
Yes. I have that. That's on my list. Yep.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful up there. I've only ever been up there in the warmer times of year, but it's one of my favorite states. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So
And I have a spot. There's like an asterisk for me personally in New Hampshire because all I have from New Hampshire is a grave spot. I
mm,
don't have a mash. So it doesn't count really for me. I need a spot. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So I already have it. Jumanji was filmed there. I got my
Okay.
spots. You know what I mean? So I'm prepared for when I go up to Maine to hit New Hampshire to get it.
I'm not sure if you ever see the movie A Walk in the Woods. It was Nick Nolte and I forget who else, Robert Redford, and it's a Bill Bryson book. I don't know if they filmed it at Dartmouth, but in the book, the whole first part of the book, the professor who writes the book is from um, New Hampshire, and he goes to Dartmouth Green and gets outfitted for his trip to walk the Appalachian Trail. So I wouldn't doubt if they filmed some of that in New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely possible, dude.
yeah, I'll have
I
to
have
do
a
some
bunch in
research too.
Maine. I have a
Yeah.
bunch in Maine. Pet Cemetery.
Oh yeah.
I mean Stephen King's
Stephen
house.
King. Yeah, he
Of
lives
course.
there, doesn't he? Doesn't he live
Not
in Maine?
anymore. His house
Oh.
is still there, and it still looks the same, but he doesn't live there no more.
Oh, okay. All
Um,
right. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, there's so much stuff. It's like I said, like I would go up to Saratoga Springs, which is way upstate New York, because there's a movie from 1981 called Ghost Story. So
Hmm.
the house is there. It looks a lot different, but you can still see that it's the same house. I would hit
Nice.
that and then go into Vermont where there's a whole cemetery. There's other stuff from that movie Ghost Story. Even though I have Vermont spots with Funny Farm and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but it would just wind. It's just on my route, so I might as well
Nice.
just get that from that movie. But yeah, the next one is New Orleans, Mississippi, and Alabama. A
Great.
bunch of movies, a lot of like civil rights stuff, and a lot of historic stuff.
Yeah,
It's
right.
all it's all mashes and stuff like that.
I
So
got to get, well, you've inspired me because I have to get my map sort of in order. I want to sort of
yeah, I'm just curious.
baseline. I got to do an audit and say, all right, which states have I
Yeah,
been
it's like
to?
just like you said, like in the beginning, it's not a competition. Like there's no competition here. But I'm also curious. Like I know you have a whole bunch. I know that Danny Johnson has a ton too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just curious to see what we all have. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I know I don't think I've ever been to I know I've never been to Mississippi or Alabama. I've
Right.
been to Louisiana.
I've been close to those, but I
Yeah.
never went through them. Like I don't have anything in Kansas. It's like I started looking like a little bit like what the hell is in North Dakota, South Dakota? Like there's some states that are a little bit.
Well, Mount Rushmore, you could get up there.
Yeah,
And
but
that
yeah, but I want something like a movie or something.
well, and I think the Mount Rushmore scene in what was it? Is it Vertigo? Yeah, Vertigo.
Yeah,
No, no, North by Northwest.
North by Northwest. I
Yeah,
hit a
which
bunch of
is
spots from
I
that.
love that. I don't think that they're really at Mount
I don't think
Rushmore.
so either. No, I
I
don't think
think
so
they're
either.
probably in California in some studio, but
Yeah,
uh yeah, man, there's
there's
it's
something
fun.
everywhere though. There's something.
Absolutely. Yeah, like when we were in Chicago a few years ago, we my wife was like, "Let's go to the Field of Dreams thing." And I'm like, "That's in Iowa. That's so far away." And she's like, "No, it's not that far from where we are." I think it was like 3.5 or 4 hours.
Nothing.
And And then, but we on the way back, we stopped in Woodstock, Illinois, which is where they filmed the movie Groundhog's Day. It's not in
Oh,
Punxsutawney.
of
So
course
yeah, like
not.
you said, there's something everywhere.
There
And
is.
in
Gotta
some of these
look.
towns, like they have a little cottage industry all about the movie, or
Yeah,
some of them are really proud of the movie being filmed there.
hell
So
yeah. It's
it's
like
fun, man.
I want to do, bro. It's like I want to hit all of these states. It's like, what about Alaska? It's like I don't know, insomnia, into the
Into the
wild.
wild, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's just one trip. Obviously, take a flight up there. You spend a few days, you hit some spots, and then you leave. That might be one of the last ones I hit, but it doesn't matter.
Well, what better reason to go? I love that,
Listen. I
the
lived in
challenge
Alaska.
is
I
there.
was I was stationed in Alaska, so I don't know where Into the Wild exactly was filmed. It might not be anywhere near Anchorage where I was or anything like that. And I was actually back there a second time on a job, but I wasn't doing, I wasn't finding spots or anything like that. I've never been to Hawaii, so
Yeah, me either.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, I might wind up going back to LA and writing a letter to whoever lives in friggin' Jack Horner's house to get that, and then go pay my respects to Sharon Tate and go to get my Rocky spot in the cemetery, and then do a few other things that I didn't get a chance to do, and then hop over to Hawaii and just hang out on the beach, hit a couple of spots, just chill for fucking 8 days, and just chill with my kid, and just have a good time.
You could do North Shore in Hawaii. I love that movie.
I could do. I mean, one of my favorites is what Joe Schellinger did way back in the day.
Oh, Gilligan's Island.
Opening of Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I just love it.
It's a deep cut. Joe Schellinger doing Gilligan's Island.
I love it. There's like Magnum PI there. There's Hawaii 5-0 there. Listen, there's stuff in Hawaii, but
heck
all I need is like 1 or 2 spots, and I'm like, I got it, and then just chill.
Yeah, it's great, man. Well, we're going on 2 hours here, so
yeah, dude. I knew this was going to be a lengthy one because
I do. I'm glad we're doing it, and I'm glad we're sort of reigniting the series. I know when you put the word out that we were going to record some new stuff, people threw out some names like Lee Hotchkiss. We'd love to have him. I've asked him in person in England, and he's like, I don't know, but he would be great.
A while back too, and he's like, I don't know.
I don't know if he's just shy, but man, he did that New York trip and like
destroyed New
killed
York.
It. Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like we've all been there a million times, and he goes there once and does everything.
Bro, he hit like 300 spots.
It was crazy.
Like, what?
Yeah, it was so good. It was so inspiring. And it was great to see him and meet him in person when we were out in London.
I met him in New York. He
met
me my job, and we went to I climbed over a fence at a church to hit it was a Angelina Jolie movie with Salt.
It's the Arthur Church, St. Bartholomew's.
That's it. It's
like the Arthur Church.
My job. Yeah, so I was like, all right, I have a spot real close right over here. So I hopped over this fence. I really wasn't supposed to, but I saw where it was, and
so we were running around in Camden town together for an afternoon when we were over there. But who else is it?
Ian Davis.
I think I already sort of teased that. I asked him, and he said he would do it. And is it Dave Saperstein?
Yeah.
That would be another great one. There's people putting in some really great time and effort, and
I love it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm glad that we can do this. I think now that I'm using a better computer, I think my technical difficulties will be a thing of the past, and we'll reach I'll reach a higher level of consistency.
I love the fact that there's like new people that are showing up and going out and doing this stuff.
No doubt.
You have all the OGs. I look at it like, all right, you have like the Babe Ruth era.
Right.
And then there's like the Derek Jeter era.
Oh, come on. Let's talk about someone besides a Yankee, for crying out loud.
Come on.
Derek Jeter.
Yeah, what am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Eddie Murray? I don't know.
Eddie Murray. All right. For Cal Ripken Jr. era.
There you go.
There you go. It's your
throw me a bone.
Right. There you go. Right.
Yeah, man. It's great.
Yeah, man. So now we're going off into this whole other new thing, and it's awesome that people are carrying the torch, man.
Well, it's funny because there's all these other new group. Well, they're not even new, but these really huge groups that are great. They're wonderful, but there's sometimes there's too many rules and there's too many restrictions and all of
Yes,
that. And I love
what we do.
Delta Bravo is just so solid.
Yeah,
And to your point, I feel like there's not only old OGs, but there's a very finite group of people. Like when we post stuff, as
yeah,
much as I love it, there's 20 people that see it or 20
right,
people that like it.
right.
And that's fine. I don't care.
I don't care
I
either.
think the way we curate it, I feel like it's rock solid, and
It
the
is.
the new people are bringing something great to it also. They
Yeah,
have such enthusiasm, and I feel like we're all cut from the same cloth because
yeah.
that's that's what brings me back every time. I just like love seeing what other people are doing. I'm like, damn, I wish I thought of that. And then, wow, I have to go there
Same
now.
here.
And then occasionally I'll do something. I'm like, wow, like this, I hadn't seen anybody do this before.
Yeah,
And of course, there's always someone to go, yeah, I've been there already. But I like that
a
too.
lot.
I
Yeah.
like that too. I do. I think it's all
Well,
great.
you know what's awesome is that several months back, Danny Boy hits me up, and he was in Manhattan because he came in with his girlfriend Holly, who's a sweetheart, and SC Hinton was here, but I didn't meet her. But he came in for the premiere of the Outsiders musical
Right.
on
Right.
Broadway. So he hits me up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm staying at a hotel, blah blah blah," and I'm like, I was literally like 4 blocks away at work. I'm like, bro, I get off of work in an hour. He's like, oh, come meet me at the hotel. So I go meet him, and I met his girlfriend, and we're sitting there. We're sitting like in the lobby up in this lounge area, and we're talking. And we started talking about hitting spots stuff. He's like, you're not sick of it? I'm like, why? How can I be sick of it? You know what I mean? Like, of what? Traveling and seeing new places
Yeah.
and experiencing new things and new
Right.
people and food and spots that I never thought I would ever be, like running around Spawn Ranch and this and the pawn
Right.
shop and this and that. It's like, how could I ever get sick of going to different, new, cool places that I can,
Right.
like
Exactly.
spend time and, put a little money away and do these things and why not? Like I can never get bored of it. Like I want to go to Europe. I have so many plans. I have like 30 more states 20 something more states that I need to hit. Like
It's just it just serves as a vehicle to get you out to
a
do
hundred
things
percent,
that
a
other
hundred
people
percent.
would just say, I wish I could do that, or I wish I could go there. But if you make a plan, if you
Yeah,
have even the smallest reason to go somewhere, just go.
yeah,
It's cool. And I find that I've met the coolest people. I've seen
yeah.
things that I only dreamt about seeing.
Me
And
too.
and a lot of times the feeling is indescribable because you're in a place that was a movie set, or where it was a historical event happened there, or a painting was made on that spot.
Yeah,
There's something intangible. We've talked about it before.
yeah,
I can't imagine getting sick of it because to me it's it's living life.
yeah.
It's the reason we're
You're
here.
living your life, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Otherwise, you're just on some grind where you're doing the same thing every day. And what's the point of that? So,
right. Yeah, I
so
want to
I,
get
no,
out.
I don't get sick of it at all. It's like an invitation to do something different where you're out of your comfort zone, or you're in a new place. It's seemingly endless because like,
Endless, dude.
you were just in LA. You could go back to LA 10 more times and,
I can
and
stay in
do
LA for
something new.
6 months and still have 1,000 things I need to do
Right.
if I
Right.
start digging. You know what I mean?
Right. Of course. Yeah.
And it's funny. It's
So
like Danny Boy recently posted in the group that the Poltergeist house is for sale.
I saw it. Yeah.
Dude, that was on my list. I didn't get there. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, but now at least I know what the backyard looks like. It looks basically the same, minus the pool. Looked exactly the same as the movie, like the very back of the house, like the
Yeah.
beams. I'm looking at it as like a spot to mash. You know what I
Of
mean? Like,
course.
dude,
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the pictures. Like the kitchen is the same as the movie. It's just
Yeah.
updated, but the whole structure is the same. I'm like, dude. I'm like, I need to get back to LA because I want to hit that house. Like,
Slide across the floor on
slide
a
across the
chair.
floor, put a helmet on,
Helmet
slide across the floor.
on. Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's endless and it's
It's so
great.
much fun,
Love
dude.
it.
It's
Yep.
it's like, how could you knock doing something like that? You know what I mean? It's like, what?
Yeah, so we got to get those guys on here
Yes.
and keep it going because I there's things I want to share, but there's things that they're doing that I would love to give them a chance to
Yep.
talk about how they got involved with our group and what they've seen and how they feel about it. So I'm
Now,
looking forward to that.
before we end, Saturday, November 9th at 5 p.m. If you're in the area, it's in Leesburg, Virginia. It's like 4.5 hour drive for me. I don't care.
Hmm.
Consider me there already.
Hmm.
It's the second pop-up art show that Kevin Bednar's, which during technical difficulties, I gave a shout out. Purcellville EATS, Purcellville Pubs, the Ashburn Pub. Just look all that up. Sponsor of the podcast. And it's called Grind 2024, a pop-up art show. It's just search that on Facebook and you can find it, or you can go to my personal page because I recently today I posted the event. He does awesome artwork. It's so well done. But if you can make it out there, just look at the event. All the information is there. He's a great dude. He already posted that there's a Delta Bravo, a couple of Delta Bravo things that are there that will be exclusive that you can only get there, which
Oh, cool.
which I'm a collector, as everyone knows. I'm still missing one coin to have everything. It still bothers me, but yeah, there's he's putting together a lot of really cool stuff, and it's a 1-day event. The event is free. I know that since he has these pubs and stuff, there's free drinks there. There's free food. He gets a DJ. He puts all this artwork up. Proceeds go to first responders and stuff like that. He always gives to a charity. Super charitable guy. And it's just last year was great. It's just a cool hang with a lot of really cool, nice people. And
Yeah.
let's make a weekend out of it. Wherever you live, I'm going to make a weekend out of it. I'm going to get out of here like on a Friday night. The event is on Saturday. I'll stay till Sunday. And, just have a good time with cool people doing cool shit, man.
Yeah, he does such great work
Yeah.
and with really good ideas. I was a couple of years ago, he was always doing Inktober and
That's
the
where it all
idea that he
stems from.
had, yeah, and the one year I just was like, damn, I wish I thought of that. He had the coolest idea where he not only did the Inktober based on people, I think, saying do this theme, do that theme. They'll tell him what to do ahead of time, but he did the artwork and then put them all in cassette tapes with labels. And I mean, do you have one? I mean, they're just amazing. I thought that was such a cool. Which one did you get?
Clockwork Orange.
So when you open it up, is the artwork inside of it?
Yep. And what he did, it comes shrink wrapped like
Yeah,
a set
he
on
does
the
everything
side,
so well. Gosh, it's
like
yeah.
the whole thing. This was for Still Brave. But
That
yeah,
font, that 80s font
that
for the
80s font.
yeah,
There's a whole thing about Still Brave in here, and then on the inside he does custom artwork and
yeah, that's so
and
cool.
and it comes with a cassette tape and there's a digital download of music and like it's super well thought out. Last year, I got this 2 years ago. Last year he was doing skateboard decks, and that's
Skateboard,
why
yeah.
he did it. That's why it's called Grind. And I got the MF Doom one that's hanging in my hallway over there. But
Nice.
yeah, man, and he does shirts and hats and forget all that stuff. I mean, he does a lot of stuff like that. But then there's custom spray cans and canvases and lithographs. Like there's so much stuff that he does, and he breaks his ass, and it's incredible artwork, and it's all for a good cause too. And plus,
Yeah, no doubt.
if you want to buy something, you buy something. If you don't, come and have a good time and hang out. Like
Exactly. That's
it's all
right.
free. It's all
Yep.
free. If you want to buy
Yep.
something.
Yeah, he was really generous and asked me to participate as well. So I'm gonna try to have some art there too.
Good.
But
Get there.
yeah,
We'll hang
but
out.
yeah, I'm excited about it. It should be
Yeah,
great.
man.
One more feather in our cap and one more reason to get together. And
100%.
I like the idea of maybe bringing some Delta Bravo stuff too, like
Yeah.
printing out some hard copies of some things. That'd be cool.
He mentioned to me like some mashes. Maybe we could do a fucking mash thing. Something.
We still need to have a show of all this
We
stuff
do.
sometime.
He was
That'll
already
be-
because not to veer off too much, but like my book that I wrote, that's
Yeah.
to the editor. So even like the last grind that I was at, he was like, "Yo, man, maybe next year, like book release party." Like he's all about like doing like these cool things and helping people out. I'm like, that would be awesome, but I have no idea how long it's gonna take. But
Right.
and then there's like somebody he knows that like owns a comic book store that's in the area. He introduced him to me. He's like, yeah, man, your book comes out. We'll do a signing and the thing. I'm like, hold on. Like, I'm not even done with the book yet. But then it's cool, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's he's a really good dude and he does good shit. And if Leesburg, Virginia. So if you can make it out, come hang.
Nice. Yep.
I talked a lot, man.
That's why we're here, man. We wanted to hear about your trip.
Christ.
We wanted to hear about your trip. I love it. I'm so glad that you wanted to do this and wanted to get back on and talk about. But it's a great thing to not only do the trip, but to be able to share and talk about it because it's inspiring to some people, right?
Some people think
freaks like us.
Think I'm ridiculous.
Yeah, no, but it's great.
Rocks, you know, it's
right.
fine. You know,
I want to see the TSA agent's face when they look at your bags.
Oh my god! It was like a shopping bag with other bags.
What
with
is that?
Ziploc bags, and it was heavy. It was.
I bet. Yeah, you probably pay an extra for your bags.
That's crazy. It was something. But I had to.
All right, man.
Tetris and make sure everything fit. It was crazy.
Of course.
It happened.
All right, man. Well, this is good. I hope you can get this up on the thing soon, and I'll just try to keep setting up more interviews with our people and hear some new stories.
100%. I'm all in. I'm down. Let's do it. I'll fight. We'll fight. If you want to do something, you find the time to do it. That's
right.
It.
All right, Jimmy Ferrari. Stay gold.
Stay gold, my man. And
all right.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
All right. Have a good night, man. Good to see you.
You
all
too.
right. Bye.